on Guest Haven, which is a pick of Zetsubou. Set 2, which is Unknown on Ormond Lake Mine, which is Gospel's pick. Set 3, which is Nightmare on Dead Dog Saloon, Zetsubou's pick. Set 4, Houndmaster on Cold Tower 2, which is Gospel's pick, followed by a tiebreaker of Wraith on the Midwich Elementary. Back on the desk with me this evening, running it back and continuing where we left off from last week is Fizz. How are we, Fizz?
Hello, Hunter. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction you just did there. I'm so keen for these games tonight. I think they're going to be phenomenal. Both of these teams have just been playing out of their minds this season. I don't think either of them lost a set in the group stage, and then, you know, coming out on top towards the end in our semis, fighting for that last spot in the grand finals. They're going to be wanting to fight to the absolute end, and we've got. Who's this on the blight here? Can't quite. Who's that? You have to tell me who this.
Sen.
Oh, it's Sen, right? Because look, I haven't been around for much of Zetsubou's game, so I don't even know who's on the team. But listen, I know most of the. Well, I don't personally know, but I know the names of most of the players that are on the team. They're well known in their community and OSL and just around DBD comp games in general, so you know it's going to be a pretty good one. So we got Sen here trying to find a little stealth and survivors. Gospel doing a very good job just stealthing out this, you know, first couple of minutes of the game. We got Corrupt Intervention almost halfway through, and as I say that, cast a curse, we find Sizz trying to run towards a pallet here. We just pre-dropping that pallet, trying to play as safe as possible. Sen's going to be trying to mind game around this pallet, maybe we can get a cheeky rush swing, but no, we're just going to be breaking that and just carrying on, trying to find another pallet here for Sizz. Sizz doesn't have a pallet, it's just a fake rock pallet, and then into some matching styles. I dare say this is going to be a hit here. And then we see the hit come on to Sizz. Sizz is going to take that hit and go as far away as possible, but with that, you know, hit coming in with within one or two rushes, we do have a rushes back pretty fast, and we're actually opting just to leave this. We do see this mid-gen getting worked on as someone up here on this hill. Dare say it's that balanced landing player, because, you know, we want that player working on that jet, and oh, unfortunately, we see another tag come through onto. I can't read that because of the. Oh, it's Cash, Johnny Cash here. So we're going to be taking that hit and going to Shaq and just trying to play as safe as possible. Just leaving these survivors, doing a bit of a hit and run there, making sure we're putting as much pressure on the map as well. We see that Shaq pallet Gornskis at 5 gen. I know those pub players out there are going to be absolutely disappointed in that one, but you know what? There's a million other pallets left on the map. So it's that pallet update, and oh, the nice mind games they're coming from Sen, and that's going to be the down onto Cash with that eruption proc in the background.
Yeah, it is 2025. I mean, the pre-drop of Shaq pallet. It's just there's so many other pallets we can be using this time around, but nevertheless, that will be a down onto Cash. A better start for Sen as to oppose of the grand final. If everybody does remember, it took him almost the length of Corrupt to find his first survivor, his first chase, which was just absolutely dire. So maybe he can pull a better result during this match, considering that, you know, we had 2 quick tags on the board and a down relatively decent amount of time. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world, but it is still a relatively good start. And now we're going to be continuing chase back onto, I do believe this is New, who will be taking chase all the way down to 10 and going to be using this pallet filler here. But we've opted to go back to Gunther, who has tried to sneak past and grab the save. We're going to be doing a little bit of jiggy around the hook and just nearly dodging that hit. We've messed up the M1 on the side of Sen. Maybe some jitters coming in, some nerves perhaps. I mean, that's just not exactly what you want. I mean, well, it was a mending hit onto Cash though, so maybe it was calculated. I didn't manage to catch a glimpse of it, but we will be pre-dropping this pallet over in main on the side of Cash, now playing this little short filler inside the middle of the building, and now we've kind of gotten a little bit lost, or we've opted to just leave, and we've lost 2 generators, and the pressure's really on. The survivors are really doing the generators adequately here, and yeah, just Gunther going to be going down. New going to be playing the beam save very aggressive, like I would have assumed that he would have ran away quite a long time ago, as that could have been pretty detrimental, could have like resulted in a tag and then followed up a down after the hook on the side of Sen, but no, nothing of the sort. We'll be taking the hook onto our near Gunther here now and taking control back of the match in Sen. So it was moving a little bit too quickly, a little bit too quick from what we would have liked on the side of our killer here. I mean, definitely would have been having some panic being set in, as there was quite a bit of gen pressure on the map, as that one over at that hill in mid-10 next to the hook here would have been around, I think, about 70%. So now Sen just really going to slow it down, try to find the reset. We do have our tunnel reset in the background, so our survivors are still quite in the lead here. But that generator is regressing at a very fast rate. So maybe someone here over at 5, and there is healthy Sizz there, but we've opted to not chase that and go and play protection around the hook. So we've come to a little bit of a stalemate in the match here as we do see the deliverance come in as Gunther had acquired it before moments ago, unhooking Cash, now running all the way down into main once more. We do have this pallet here on the outside, but nothing really to work with on the inside. Now we're going to be playing a little bit of mind games on the side of Sen, and this can definitely result in a down if we're not careful on the side of Gunther, who's going to be pre-dropping this pallet here, playing the fakes very nicely, but ultimately getting caught. Wow, this is incredible that they're able to keep the pace of this matchup here, Fizz.
I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. Those unhooks, the first unhook and then the the Deli unhook were just perfect timing when Sen just wasn't anywhere near the hook, and Gunther being able to dodge that little swing of that on that hill earlier was just exactly what they needed to kind of bring it back on towards their pace. And they're doing a fantastic job just sitting on the generators as well, and just making Sen struggle a little bit just to even get a tag onto a survivor. And as I say something, Sizz is going to be taking a smack trying to dodge that with a locker, and unfortunately he's going to be taking the down here as well. So that's going to be another eruption proc on a couple of generators there. We don't really see a survivor coming in for the hook, and it's going to be a slug as well, just checking on this just the hook, make sure we don't see anyone coming in. But these survivors look like they just want to sit on generators, pop the last 2 gens. There is 2 gens up. Maybe we see an unbreak coming from Sizz. No, unfortunately unbreak is not on Sizz, so we're just going to be camping around this hook. But we do know we have 2 survivors sitting on the last 2 generators, and we have 1 on the floor. 1 on the floor is not really going to be doing much. Eventually they will have to wrap for this survivor to pick them up, but I dare say Sen's just gonna camp this hook out. But at the same time, I don't think you really should. You need to check those back 2 generators. They're so far away from each other that we've psych, this one's popping right now, so Sen doesn't really need to check that one. But that generator at 5 is also going to pop any minute now. I think we do see the killer going there now. Yeah, exactly is what's happening. And oh my days, a nice little tag onto Nu there. Nu's just going to have to hold W, go for a run, maybe go pick up Sizz as that's on the way. Yeah, absolutely doing the pickup there. But we do have 2 injured survivors, 1 generator left. 3 survivors on the board, and this is going to be a down here as well. This could pretty much guarantee a free hook here for Sen as well, and then that's just a pop eruption on whatever last generators are. But these generators are I would say they're fairly split, but that mid generator is a bit chunky. But we do know it has been hit with eruption and a couple of a pop here and there, so there might not be that many more regression kicks left on that thing.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Now we have caught out Nu, who's just stealthing around this bottom 6 area with the blinds. Does have access to the shack window here, so Sen opting not to chase this and go back to Gen Patrol, where we have spotted Cash's scratch marks who have gone all the way down to where the unhook seems to be. But Sen just going to go back to the generator, maybe take this pop and eruption proc on to this mid-10 generator and go back to the hook straight after, as we would anticipate that Cash is very close to getting that unhook and does so nicely. Now, Sizz really needs to escape this. He had a little bit of a predicament over in corner 4, but maybe he can make do of the loops around this vicinity in the map currently in the match. And well, jokes, we found Cash here, who's just going to be taking chase all the way down to the one side now. So Sizz has escaped his tunnel out. So some very nice stuff from the survivors here. Going to be eating that tag on the side of Cash, now running all the way down into main. But Sen opting not to chase that and go all the way back down to the gens, as everybody in the trial is injured at the moment. So we are very vulnerable if we aren't able to get any resets going. And we have managed to catch out Nu, who's forced locker here. Doesn't have a pallet to work with and is blocked from the window and just going to be forcing lock-in now. We do have a healthy... we'll be having a healthy Sizz very soon, as we do see him resetting in the back of what seems to be a med kit of some sort. I'm not too sure if that's what Gunther had in hand and we had picked up from these death hook, but going to be taking this hook onto Nu here now, and as it currently stands, we are at, I do believe this is 7 stages for Fresh, so the game could really go either way from here on out. So it can either go to outs if we're not careful on the side of Sen and we're just over-committing chases we don't need to be, or it could result in a 4K1 if we're able to really capitalize on some mistakes here, as we do spot an injured Cash just working this generator over at 5, but that will result in the unhook in the background. And now Cash trying to make all the way down to 3, only has the locker to work with. No pallet in this vicinity is going to be going down. And wait, we've doing a little bit of spins there outside the locker, and we're running all the way down to the edge map. Do we make the window vault? We don't, but we will be going down. Nu is in the background healthy. We have 2 survivors healthy at this point in time at the 3v1 with 1 generator remaining. This is completely doable for the survivors, but they cannot give free tags at the moment. Nu going bobbing, weaving in and out, playing around that rock. Sizz kind of caught out over at 10 now, taking another kick back onto this mid-10 generator on the side of Sen. He's going to be following up the scratch marks here, which will lead into, I do believe this is Sizz just kind of looming around, and we'll be pre-dropping this fun bus, which is the newly added tile, into Gas Heaven. And now got to be eating a tag here. Mighty unfortunate stuff, but we do get the unhook in the process in the background. We are getting mind game at the shack, and we're going to have to force to die basement. We do have Dead Hard in hand, but not quite procking, unfortunately. We're going to be going down inside Shack, and now Sen rotating all the way back down to the middle of the map, and once again in control of this match. If Cash isn't on that 5 generator, this can spell big trouble here. Nu has to have the chase of his life if this is really to be able to be pulled off at this point in time. We are pre-dropping the outside of the Shack pallet. Does Sen go back for the slug, or does he go back for 5? He's gone back for 5. He knows that, you know, Sizz is just kind of down on the floor, hasn't been picked up yet, so we can anticipate that Cash should be rotating for the save here. Have we caught him out? But no, wait. We just misheard maybe on the side of Sen. I thought he was getting awfully close to Cash, but we are going to be going for a pickup onto Sizz here. Again, slowing the game down very nicely. Still can go either way, Fizz.
Yeah, I mean, Sen checking on that generator at 5, knowing it doesn't have that much progress, allowed him to go pick up Sizz there and just kind of get that hook and that free pop. Still doesn't have very much, you know, progress on the gen, but it's that mid-gen that we're really worried about. Like, it's just going to be pumping away. Surely Nu's just been sitting there. Actually, it's like that. We see the unhook coming through the background, so Nu probably snuck in there and got that real quick. And we do commit to a chase here. I think this is Nu as well. And bang! We just get a nice little smack around the rock. Nu just running into that face first, but we're opting to leave this once again, just checking on these generators. We're trying to commit to this 4K1. Now, that generator has got a little bit of the spiky spikes on it, so I'm not sure if Sen can kick that anymore as we commit to a chase here on into main building. Death, I think this was Sizz. I didn't catch what survivor was, just saw the scratch marks. Hopefully we'll see them very soon. We see Cash in the background trying to work. Oh no, it's Cash. We see Cash over here at 1, trying to do a little bit of 50-50. We win the first 50. Can we win another one? There's one or two more bounces left, and oh, nice. We win the second 50-50. This is costing Sen a lot of time that he doesn't really have. He's got to go back and check these generators because they're just going to be sitting on them.
That was absolutely huge to be able to last while injured over a corner 1 on the side of Cash, and now he can rotate all the way back down to the middle and probably double the generator if we spend a little too much time here over at corner 5 on the side of Sen, but he does realize it. He hasn't found the stealth out over in corner 5 and now knows that he can go all the way back down to mid, but it is very high in terms of kick progress. I don't think we're going to be able to kick it anymore. We are going to be whiffing and taking chase back onto Sizz here over at 10. So can he pull some magic out of the hat? I think he does still have Dead Hard in hand, and we will be seeing Deja Vu if there will be a Dead Hard used at this corner 10 pallet here. We're going to be running all the way down to 11, following up the chase on the side of Sen. Is he going to follow the scratch marks, or is he going to go back to the generators here, as we do know somebody would be working over at this mid and working over at this 5 generator here. These gens are still relatively close to each other, so Sen can definitely still hold this. Not really much to go on here if you're the corner survivor. I mean, we've got 2 pistons pumping, and we've played a little bit safe now, taking this kick on the side of Sen once more, and now going to the edge map to really try to see where we can spot out that pesky survivor just looming around. Some incredible stealth work there from Nu to be able to rotate. I do believe that was all the way over at 3, so you know, the gen being so close to 5, he can hop back on it at any time. Sizz and Cash going for a little bit of a reset over at 10 now. They have to be very careful not to be spot out by Sen. Sen just really worried about this mid-10 generator here. I don't know if he can even kick that anymore. I mean, that's really close, but Nu still playing very patiently, and I do like this play. We do have, again, 2 healthy survivors back in the trial. Still a 3v1 with 1 generator remaining as it currently stands, and I do believe we'll be heading into the 14-minute mark or somewhere around there as it currently stands. It looks like at the moment there is only is it 7 or 8 stages? I don't have the sheets up with me at the moment, but it is somewhere around that high stage mark, and definitely still outable on the side of the survivors, but they cannot afford to make any mistakes here. 3 of them have to be on exact same terms as to oppose of Sen, who just kind of has to make his macro decisions himself. Nevertheless, will be taking a tag onto Cash. He will be running all the way down into the middle of the map and having to play this pallet around this tile here. Very nicely playing the check spots. He's having an incredible game right now for what it is worth. Going to be going all the way back down into Shaq, and now Sen has to be forced all the way over into mid 10, and we do see Sizz just pre-leaving that generator, running all the way down into main once more. Sen gonna have to really play around. Oh, we spotted Nu. He wasn't at 5. I thought he was working 5. We were doubling mid. That is so unfortunate, but not dead just yet. Cash still in the game, Sizz still in the game. They're just greeting the generator. Are we gonna take a hit on the side of Sizz? Cash not able to commit the generator, and we're going to be dropping Nu straight in front of it, but I don't think he gets hooked now if he does manage to crawl away. Sizz going to be eating a tag and running all the way down to corner 10 now. So it's kind of flipped on its head a little bit for the survivors here, especially if Sizz goes down at a point in time like this. We are recovering on the side of Nu. Are we able to pick him up on the side of Cash? We get the dead hunt!
Oh my god!
Corner 11 as well, and we ran all the way into the main building. Cash trying to go for the pickup back onto Nu, but Nu still not recovered enough, and I'm not too sure if he's the unbreakable survivor. I can't remember off the top of my head who is in the trial, but Cash will be going down now. You have 2 downs around the oh, Cash is the unbreakable at the moment. Sizz has to last just long enough for Cash to be able to get up. Who are we going to pick up on the side of Sizz? We haven't picked up the unbreakable survivor, so we're still in the trial at the moment. If we can manage to get up just in time and get the pickup onto Nu. Cash got it 99. 3, 2, 1, and is he ready? No. Wait, he's already used it. When did he use it? Oh, that's on the
Slugged, he was slugged earlier. I thought he just got picked up, but he must have used unbreak. No, that's actually... Oh, that is so unfortunate. That would have been an amazing play there. They did a fantastic job of kind of slowing it down. I like what they did there. They slowed it down. They tried to get reset. It was just unfortunate Cash getting spotted there over at Shaq and just giving that cheeky tag. And then Nu getting caught out in main at the...
But nevertheless, we'll be spawning all the way down to the top side of the map. Quite the opposite of what we had seen last time around, but nevertheless, we do see our survivors spawn all the way down to 5. Gonna be taking this nice and quick chase onto Sen. An unfortunate first chase off the bat, I can't lie, but does he have a lot to run onto? He does have this pallet here over at 3, as we have pre-dropped that mid 3 pallet, and unfortunately stunning Cash in the face there. Is Sen, who will be vaulting back into the map once more. Can Cash get this quick tag onto Sen? Unfortunately not. Maybe we'll opt to leave this chase on the side of Cash, as you know, Sen's just going to run to those extremely favorable spots in the map, and we have opted to chase this on the side of Cash. We've anticipated that the survivors maybe not have rotated, or maybe we're just scouring what Sen's going to do and what his next plan of action is. We have spotted out Silly and Baki. Silly hopping off the generator, pre-leaving. Baki going to be taking that nice pre-drop onto the Shaq pallet in the blind of the eyes. So, you know, Shaq dropped again once at 5 generators remaining. You're spewing. You are absolutely livid if you're a pub player. And now we're going to be trying to crouch tech Cash here on the side of Baki, but unfortunately getting hit through that, and now going to be playing the LNT wall, which is notoriously bad for blights in some instances.
This blight
on the side of Cash, he's doing it. We got 1 down on the board at the moment, so, you know, only the whole team left to go just before 1 generator, I guess, Fizz.
I mean, yeah, Castle's Curse, you gotta admit it, Hunter. It happens, you know, we say the Blights aren't very good around TNLs, and then wabam, bro's on the ground, and we do see something explode over towards that main building, and we've already got... who is this? Oh, Kana going in for that unhook, so that's going to be the deli for free, basically, while Cash has gone to check on the generators. Very nice early unhook for free as well. That's definitely going to get the deli off, and we get a reset as well. That's going to be so rough, especially if you want to get that tunnel out as well. Although, you know, we're working with a survivor that has overcome and balance landing on their, you know, their exhaustion build. So if we take that tag, they do get a lot of distance to another pallet as well. So it's going to be very rough when we try and go for that 50-50, but unfortunately... Not quite able to hit that back here, just playing that 50-50 very nicely. And we're just going to keep trying to play around this pallet. Hopefully we can get that tag in, but unfortunately the bump logic just not coming through, just getting stuck on the end of that tile, that little filler. As we got another filler pallet here. They're just absolutely everywhere on this map now. And we're just going to be breaking that pallet, just trying to catch up to this survivor. We do see one generator pop in the background. And as we see on the icon, we see another generator popping any second, and then another one roughly around 40 to 50% progress. And we're just going to be committing to this chase onto back here, just trying to play around this tile, do just my games 50-50, and we do see the tag come through, but that's going to be a overcome hit all the way back over towards this pallet, and maybe we can get a tag here, but damn, Sen just jumping in that lock at the perfect time, not quite giving that tag just yet, but regardless, we're still going to be giving away that tag. And we've also just lost wherever Backy went. Backy just holding W now. Oh no, we're just in main building having a fun time trying to hide from the killer psych we actually see here, but we do have the pallets in main to work around, and Cash is going to try and play this 50-50, maybe try and bump around it, but those doors can be pretty pesky. You might accidentally, you know, get stuck, not get stuck on it, but accidentally break it. And Backy's just doing an amazing job, just taking Cash for an absolute stroll around the park, and Cash is just trying to do his best here. We are edge map right now, and dare say is going to be the downfall of Backy, but we did have 3 generators pop already, so it's looking a little rough here.
Unfortunately, we've overcommitted Backy just a little bit. I understand we're trying to get the tunnel out as soon as possible, but he was healthy. If we had managed to get that tag and down just a little bit earlier, I mean, we would have been in a better position than we are now. The gens are pumping away. We do hear 10 just ready to go. I mean, you really have to take into consideration the fact that Cash is not playing bad. This is textbook blight. It's just Zetsubou just know time again how to play the blight set, and there you go. They get an unhook because Cash has roamed a little too far, as he does have to go on gen patrol at a point in time like this, and we've got an FTP in the background, but it does result in a down onto the side of Sen. Eruption in the background procking as well, and we did have access to Pop Goes the Weasel, so that generator won't be really getting done anytime soon unless, you know, Silly hops on it right about now and they're just doubling it away. So we do get the hook onto Sen over into this corner 1 section. If we look at our gen spread at the moment, we do have access to 1, 3, and 5, so I do believe we're playing for a tie at the moment, as we're not going to really worry too much about 10, as we do anticipate that that will be done anytime soon right now. And this is really smart for the side of Cash. I mean, he's going to have to opt to kick this generator here over at 5, and we haven't caught sight of our Claudette player there, Canalave, who's just kind of stealthing around the rocks there. Cash faking the leave once more, and we've gone around the wrong side of the rock. Unfortunately, Catalave was just, you know, around the other one, not around this one, and we're just looking in every direction but where we need to be looking, and it's just mighty unfortunate. Very well played by Canna. Some very nice stealth work there to be able to evade that ever so nicely.
On the gen next to the clear as well. What?
Yeah, and you know, we think that we're in the clear on the side of Cash, so now we're going to go back on gen patrol and try to fight a reset of some sort, but oh, Call of Bride coming in clutch, dobbing on the survivor, working the generator over at corner 5, and that is Canalave. And we're taking chase once more around 5, and going to be rotating all the way down to the other side of the map, where there's a lot of resources to be used once we make away from this shack area all the way over into the other side of the map. And Cash knows it. He's going to not chase that and go all the way back to gen patrol once more. We do see some scratch marks leading all the way back down into corner 5 again, and now going to be taking chase around these LNTs, which I said once before can prove to be pretty problematic for the Blight, especially when you got Sen on a full health state. But we're vaulting and just falling into the loving embrace of Cash, and now I'm just going to shut up, because every single time I've mentioned these LNTs and the fact of how this chase can go, I've always just been wrong. So, you know, Fizz, I think I'll let you take this one.
It happens, Castle Curse. It's a thing. Sometimes you just don't have to, you just don't mention what's going on in the chase. Otherwise, you just jinx the survivors. And as I say, we see Sen take the chase to the main building. Main building can be a little tricky to bump around. Might accidentally back bump on a couple of things. We do see that generator pop in the background, still trying to commit to this chase, and unfortunately just bumping on absolutely everything here. It's just too much of a tight little space here that we're trying to work around, and that just allows Sen to get to that window and get out of the main building over towards this filler pallet. That's a lot safer to work around, in my opinion. For the Blight, we're trying to go for a 1-2 rush, just a little bit of a swing there. Not quite able to make that. Not enough distance, not enough speed. I don't know. I don't play Blight. But anyway, we're dropping that pallet now. It's just a game of 50-50. We've got a standstill happening right now. Nice little fake there, but unfortunately not quite making it. I'm pretty sure Sen has life, so that was a cheeky little. No, it wasn't a life because we've already used it. So it was just a nice little 50-50 win. Then we're gonna be seeing the rushes coming through. Can we get another cheeky 50-50? And we're just gonna be vaulting back over. And unfortunately, that is our rushes coming through. We did see Backy in the background coming in for that body, trying to get Sen out. They want to get every single survivor out of this gate, and it's just gonna be a Holden W walking him down right now because as we don't have any rushes left, but we're gonna be boxing Sen in, trying to get him out the door. There's 3 survivors there to get him out. We do see the fatigue come through. Maybe he's gone towards Shaq now, and I think Cash has kind of figured that out. We see 1 survivor leave. Oh no, we're not leaving just yet. We saw 1 survivor leave, so he said, "Yeah, I'm out with 1. I'm over it. Later, bro." and now, yeah, with the fatigue, that's going to be the other 2. No, they're not leaving. They're coming in with bodies. They're just taking hits. They're not letting him get that hatch. They want him out the gate instead. So we're just going to be, running around trying to get him out. And this could work. It could also not work, as Cash is playing very patient, not hitting the survivors, not using too many rushes, just making sure we have everything in the bag that we can use. And here comes the rush, and here comes the body trying to come through. Oh, unfortunately, just missing that pushing, but it does push Sen back towards Shaq. Can these 2 get out the door before we get hit down? And yeah, that's exactly what happens, and we don't get the block on the hatch. Unfortunately, it's just about your killer pick. Sometimes your killer might just be the most average killer, but your survivors can dominate on that set because they just, I don't know, they just love playing against that one killer 24/7. So it's like you said, best of the best. I never say like, oh, I think these guys are going to win over these guys, because it's always just a 50-50 in my book. Because there's been upsets this whole season in OSL, so it could go either way from these sets. And loading in now, Gibbsy on the Unknown. Pretty classic build that I've seen on the Unknown with that Wretched Fate. Took me a while to understand what it actually does, but it's like slows down the Obsession's repair.
33%.
Yeah, but like by a massive amount after that first generator gets popped. We do catch a survivor, not quite getting that snipe onto them. Dodging that very nicely, but we do know where they are, but they do have that shack to play around, very, very close to that shack, playing very safe, not pushing up too fast or too hard. Psych, I take that back. We're just running for it. Backy's just playing very aggressive, wants to get on those generators as soon as possible. Trying to find a survivor over towards this side, because usually, as survivors, you want to do that 2-2 split, 2 down one side, 2 down the other side, so you have, a lot of pressure across the whole map, and not just like down one side of the map, and you're not running into each other all the time. So it's a very good thing to do. 2 survivors down one side, 2 survivors down the other side. Trying to catch the survivor off. Trying to catch a survivor in main, as we do hear those pistons working just a little bit, and we hear that survivor drop down the backside, and it is Backy. You're getting that UV tag onto him, just trying to get into chase now. It hasn't quite gone into chase, so we do see just working around this main building. Can we get a nice little tag here? Going downstairs, and oh, that was a nice double back there from Backy, and a stun on the pallet, and Backy's just going to get rid of that UV straight away, not, just holding eyes with Gibbsy that whole time. So we get rid of that UV, and we see this med generator getting worked. It's a very good generator to be working on for these survivors. Want to get it out of the way, so the killer has to play a lot more aggressive, go a lot further, and just it's going really slow at the moment. I haven't quite gotten any tags. Survivors are doing very good pre-leaving the generators, not giving Gibbsy anything to work with right now, just playing it super slow, because as long as they keep it in there, like the pace in their hands, it can be pretty good for them.
Yeah, definitely. And with that being said, he is kind of succumbing to the pressure a little bit. Unfortunately, Backy just playing really nicely over in main. I honestly thought he was... Wait, we've gotten a pot shot all the way onto Silly now, holding the check spot here, and Shaq has to be extremely careful as he's got to be going down. That's absolutely crazy. I can't lie. I was about to outline some of the the bad parts of this match, but after seeing that, we've just kind of fallen back into control into the side of Gibby to be able to back-to-back get those shots and down Silly. Now we got a Painter's hook, you tapped. Painter's hook in the middle of the map now with a vantage point over at main. can we spot any generators being worked in the background? This is the most highly progressed one on the side of Baki over in main, and he is really good at dodging the UVXs. I don't think he's going to be getting tagged anytime soon. He's going to be rotating all the way down to corner 1 once more. No, opting to hug the wall of inside of main and now going all the way to the backside and just kind of breaking LOS. We do get the unhook in the background, so I do believe that was our Jake there getting the unhook onto Silly, who is now just kind of stealthing around the corner of the map. But we have spawned all the way back on the side of Gibby, teleported, and now we are in chase once more, and Silly has to play the Shack to the best of his abilities with no resource in hand. Unfortunately, now forced to vault. The medium vault coming in. He's going to be rotating all the way back down to mid-7. Does have this LNTs to be working with, but he is UVX at the moment, and if we're not careful, we can get sniped. Silly rotating all the way down to 9 now, and we do have access to a pallet in this vicinity. I'm just not really too sure where. This is a really nice long loop for him to work with here. If we are able to make this tile over into 9, we can work and just maybe last a little bit longer. Going to be pre-dropping that and now trying to use the window, but we've been caught out using the check spot very nicely. Does he make the pallet here? No. And he has faked the vault, but Gibbsy a little too smart, timing his swing at the exact moment he needed to and getting the down as he needed to. So we're going to be taking this second hook onto Silly now. Mighty unfortunate stuff here from the survivors. Really need to get Silly out of this predicament here. I'm not too sure if there's an FTP in hand from one of these survivors stealthing around for the pull and whatnot. We do spot someone working all the way down over at 3. Do see that someone has been pumping this generator over at main as well, but the scratch marks lead all the way back down into the hook here. We do also have I'm not too sure what they're called. I'm going to call it a teleport, but it is placed all the way inconveniently for the survivors over at the main building, so he can just teleport back to it whenever he wants with like really no repercussion. You do really want to be getting rid of that as soon as possible. But we've opted to teleport all the way back down to our hook after we've taken the eruption proc on to 3. And if we can really spot another survivor and down them as soon as possible and get another pain rest stack, we're in a world full of trouble, especially if we're not able to get that unhook in the background, which is getting awfully close to death. Gibbsy just playing very protective here. Again, can't really afford to lose this hook now, and we have spotted out Baki, who has rotated for the save. If he does lose this hook, we've just lost a whole bunch of pressure, and you know, everything he's been doing for the past minute or so has just kind of been obsolete. So we really have to be protecting this as much as we can. Now we're going to be trying to get some pot shots onto Baki here, but not quite working out in our favor. Gibbsy confirming the death onto Silly. Silly out of the game at 4 generators remaining. The 3v1 at 4. This is looking like it's going to be a 4k1 or 4k2, but again, this is Zetsubou.
I mean, they could come back to this, but we do have an injury on the board as well. You know, Kanna's injured, sitting somewhere. If we find Kanna, oof, that's very, very rough for Zetsubou. And there is 3 generators pumping away at the moment. We do have eruption on all of them. So if we do manage to find Kanna, Gibbsy can definitely come up with a huge... never mind. We see the reset come through, and that main building pop. But as I say that, we get that tag onto Baki. Hopefully we can get that quick little snipe. But you know, Baki's been a demon, just absolutely dodging these shots. But unfortunately, we're just getting caught out at this window. And as we know, if we vault in that window, we're definitely getting shot here, and that is going to be the down. We did hear the eruption proc in the background as well, so those generators have been you know, exploded, regressed, however you want to say it, however you think it should be said, say however you want to say it. And now we get a pain res on top of that as well. So very good pressure right now from Gibbsy. And trying to go for that snipe. Did we get that? Oh my gosh. I can't tell if we got that or if Kanna already had that. My eyes are working tonight. My glasses are not on. Kidding, I don't own glasses. Not sure what I'm even saying. But and we come for the unhook straight away. Unfortunately hitting the top of that roof there as well. Not quite able to get that snipe onto both of them. Going to be committing to chase here. Just trying to find... I think we just lost sight of Baki. Not quite able to see them. Is this Sen here? Yeah, this is Sen. And oh my god, we go through... We go through the TP and we find kind of trying to get rid of the little TP drop, and we get a 2-tap as well. That is exactly what you want.
Yeah, definitely Gibbsy really putting on the jets now. The game is not slowing down as we do still have access to 2 stacks of pain resonance in our back pocket. Wretched Fate out of the trial, though, I do believe, if my eyes have not deceived me, and it is not lit up. So, you know, our Obsession does not have any more debuff to be working with our Jake over there. And we are going to be taking this hook onto Kanna here. We do see some scratch marks over here at 7. Who's going to be running all the way down to corner 8. Are we playing the check spots around the tunnel and the pipe, and we are going to be vaulting that window all the way back down into Shaq once more, and now waiting for the teleport to come back on the side of Gibbsy. Going to be rotating back to the unhook here. He's going to be chasing Canna once more, who's going to be rotating all the way back over down to the back side of main. And do we get the hit? And we do! Gibbsy's playing out of his mind. There's still 3 generators remaining, no DS in hand, unfortunately, as this is a tier 2 killer. Problem, Zetsubou, we're really running dry a little bit on our ideas here, and now Baki just kind of forced all the way into corner 2. He's going to be playing for this pool, and we're going to be chasing Sen now. Sen really going to have to pull something out of the hat. He's going to be able to dodge the UVX, and now playing around this pallet, but we have pallet possession on the side of Gibbsy, but able to win the 50 on the side of Sen, slapping the pallet inside onto Gibby's head. Gonna have to play around this filler here, but unfortunately, not really much to go on here. Going to be faking that vault and making a way to the LNT. I do believe that was a 99 sprint burst as well that really aided us in that chase there. So some really good calculations there from Sen. He's going to be playing this window and again faking it very nicely. He's going to be able to make the T but opts not to use it. Plays the L once more. He's going to be going down, unfortunately, before making any sort of window in the vicinity. Do we have access to somebody saving Sen at this point in time? We don't, so we're playing a little bit more safe. We've got the resets happening in the background, but we do have access to our last pain resistant stack to slow down the game even more. But after this pain resistant stack, we only have eruption in hand for the remainder of the trial, which means that we have to be kicking those generators and getting downs accordingly. Just hopefully our teleports are placed in the exact spots they need to be, and as I say that, we do plop one down all the way at 2 as we are chasing Baki at the same time, and we're going to be swinging straight through that pallet and getting another tag and a UVX tag as well. We're going to be leaving this chase and trying to intercept the unhook in the background. Canna able to get it just in time and just skate away from that, but we're not chasing Canna, unfortunately, as he is a healthy survivor, so it's not in our best interest to chase that on the side of Gibbsy, and now we're going to be forced to chase another survivor over in the corner. We do get the down onto Baki, who's just caught out of position, unfortunately. Going to be taking chase back on to Sen here, who's going to be playing the check spots over at this really shit filler pallet there, and going down all the way to... Going to be trying to catch off our last survivor off guard. It is Canna. Where has he gone in a point in time like this? He is just chilling over at 8 here, and he's been spotted out. He's going to have to make do of the main building, but I don't think he has much to work with. He does have that outside pallet there, but I'm pretty sure the bottom one from in this vicinity was dropped a little bit earlier on the side of Baki when we were doing a little bit of jiggy around the stairs and able to, you know, just escape away. Canna going to be Wing away from this pallet here over at the top side of main now, though, and rotating all the way down to the stairs. Does have access to this window here. He's going to have to play the mind games, and Gibbsy a little bit too smart for that. Pulling out the UVX tentacle, trying to really catch him out. We get the pickup onto Baki, but that's just going to be an instant down, unfortunately. Not really much we can do there. You know, Canna really caught in a predicament now, and I think, you know, Gibbsy just really putting on the dominant performance here. He's going to be taking another UVX tag and now trying to get the injure with the UVX, but not quite working out in his favor. We are going to be trying to down the survivor once more, but wait, we've escaped it a little bit. Okay, so now it's up to Sen to kind of last a little bit longer, and Canna's just escaped that entirely and does have to manage to pick up Baki in the background now. Sen's played that mind game very well. Now we're going to be running around the window here. Gonna be missing that on the side of Gibbsy, and all of a sudden, all the survivors are back up.
We're back up. Oh my god. Canna played that perfectly, just running around and picking up each survivor, not giving away that tag, and then just, I don't even know, just whippity-whopping his way towards the our savior right here, Canna. But unfortunately, Canna is death hook, so if Canna goes down here and gets hooked, we only have 2 survivors left, and both of them are injured, so we either get on 2 separate generators and try and pump as much as we absolutely can, or just jump on 1 generator and just get the best result as we can, because this is looking very rough. But Canna's playing absolutely out of his mind on one of these Orman tiles. I don't even know what to call this little zigzag TNL wall. But yeah, as I said, that's going to be the down onto Canna, and just if we just pick up and hook this instantly, that's going to be the death as well. And we see the flashlight save come through. Oh my god, that is exactly what you want. These survivors are playing out of their minds right now, but that just means there's no progress going on one of the generators. There's just less time. So hopefully Sen can have a chase of his life, but I don't think he has really much to work with over towards this little tower thing. We're just going to be playing edge map, running to this deepest corner, but we do have a health stay on on Sen. So look how far away back he is over there working on that generator. And we see, as it's starting to snow a little bit heavier in the Ormond, we do see Canna. We find Canna once again. Now Canna's just going to have to play another chase of his life. He might have just gotten caught out there, but no, makes it over that. Palace is playing absolutely perfectly right now. Getting a little bit panicky here from Gibbsy. Gibbsy wants that 4K3. He doesn't want to give away another generator, but we know that someone's working on a generator over towards this 6 area. So, and as I say that, we see Baki trying to run away from there, and we see these Pistons absolutely pumping. Going to be applying Eruption onto that. Going to try and find a survivor to down. We got Canna going for the pickup already. Baki's just trying to play as safe as absolutely possible. Doesn't want to give that down. Doesn't want to give away that Eruption because we want that extra generator. We want to make our, win con as little as possible, but with not much else to work with, and this dodgy little pallet over here towards this hill, and that's just going to be the down onto Baki and that Eruption proccing. But we did see the pickup onto Canna, sorry, not Canna, onto Sen. So we know where that roughly where those last 2 survivors are. So Gibbsy can sort of cut them off, but like I said before, Canna still has that. Oh my god, I'm getting all their names mixed up. Hunter, oh my god. Baki still has that extra stage on. But both of these survivors, are injured. They've done a cheeky little 99 reset, exactly what you want to do. But we found exactly where the reset was, so we know where both of these survivors are. They're all the way across to the outside of the map. We see both of them. We get the UV tag onto Canna. Canna just trying to play the 50-50s. It's going to be an injure onto Canna. Will Canna be getting 2 tapped, as he did get 2 tapped once before, but no, not happening today. And we do see the drop down into this little hole, going back for the the teleport. Gibbsy having a very good macro here, just cutting off Sen, trying to go for that unhook, and just not allowing these survivors just to even use all that, all the whip whooping, flashlight saves, all the stuff that they just did is just not really working out for them because they just can't get on the generators as they have to do too much to save each other.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just incredible that they've been able to really pull it back here and still in the game at this point. So we're just gonna be camping the death here on the side of Gibbsy, playing it extremely safe. We do see Canna all the way over at corner 11, and Sen here for the trade if the need be, but unfortunately that will be Baki out of the trial now, so it is a 2v1 at 3 generators still remaining. Gibbsy's done really well to really secure this 4K3 for his team, and is now going to be once again taking control of the map. And yeah, you are right, it is snowing extremely heavy as we go into what seems to be the 15-minute mark, 16-minute mark of this match. And now we're going to be playing the check spots here on the side of Sen, trying to fake the pallet, but unfortunately getting hit through that, and been some short fillers here in this trial, goddamn. But going to be taking another kick onto this corner 7 generator here and catching out Canna out of position. Doesn't really have much to go on. It's going to be going down by the UVX here. No one to save Canna at the moment anymore. Sen's the only other survivor in the trial at the moment, and I'm not really too sure where he's gone, but we've anticipated that he is somewhere here for the beamer save, and he's all the way over in mid here. So what do you really do here on the side of Sen? There's not really much you can do. You need to somehow manage to get Canna up, and Gibbsy really has to fumble the bag here to allow this to happen for what seems to be the 3rd or 4th time in this trial, to have all the survivors in the trial up again. But no, I don't see anybody being healthy at this point, and they're really fighting for that extra generator to make it a 4K2. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to be able to be the case. And, even if we do take this hook onto Canalave and we're not able to make all the way back down to the shack and down Sen, it's not the end of the world for Gospel. I mean, they're still ahead in terms of generators, and just like their stages will be really muddled up if that's the case, as, we'll escape with 2 stages on the side of our survivors. But we have caught out Sen! And
who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Oh!
It's panicking a little bit there, because I am fairly sure if he hit that and got the pickup before the hatch spawn, he gets it before.
Killers, man. Like I said, I'm 50-50. He could. But we've seen 4K4s on unknown. It's just not back. He is unknown, but it could possibly happen. Like, he's got the macro in his back pocket. It's just whether or not he has that micro on the unknown to pull this off. And even if he doesn't go for the win con, maybe he's gonna try and play for the Tycon. It's a little bit easier, not the easiest, but hopefully he has that tippity 2 tabs that Gibbsy was getting on these survivors that he gets, and just going back to the hooks at the right time, not letting those unhooks come for free, or not letting the unhooks happen at all, as we saw into Silly, because Silly just carking it and just absolutely getting deleted from the game. And So yeah, hopefully we see something absolutely amazing come through with Becky. He's got to play so aggressive and make sure these survivors get absolutely nothing for free.
Round 2 fight, and we load in on the side of Baki all the way down at corner 7. Really going to try and scour for these first survivors. And do you manage to see? I do believe that is Gunther in the background. I'm not too sure if that was our near player there. We're going to do a little pot shot on the side of Baki here, playing the mind games, and it is Gunther who's going to be playing the check spots very nicely, opting to pre-leave that, but running into the.
Where are you going?
Unfortunately, I mean, well, we've all done that before, but the
Fat shamed!
and he gets that shaved as well! That is incredibly unfortunate. He's not really able to make through that little gap in the box. Oh, you know, you love and hate DVD sometimes, and we do have a UVX tag onto Gunther now. He's just gonna force to die all the way into corner 1, and this is exactly what you need on the side of Baki here, as there is absolutely bugger all progress on those generators in the background, but we are 3-splitting, so it all really depends on what Baki's next move is here. He's gonna take a pain rest to slow the game down just a little bit on the most progress generator, which I do believe is corner 7. He just needs to really find this next chase and find it quick and get that down quick. And, you know, like you said, Fizz, it's all about getting those 2 taps. It's exactly what Baki needs, and I feel like he's on the right track to doing so. So, you know, throwing a little bit of shots all the way over at 7 isn't going to hit anyone just yet, but we do manage to tag Cash with the UVX here and take a kick onto Shaq. And look, I'm just going to say it now. If he pulls it back here to a 4K4, 4K5, this is, I'm just going to be out of my seat. Just, oh. Anyway, nevertheless, we will be seeing the unhook in the background now chasing Gunther once more. Hopefully he can have a little bit of a better chase than we saw just moments ago. Just before he went on the hook and went down. And he's not locked, unfortunately. My bros ran into the poles there. That mighty unfortunate stuff. You know, I can only pray for his last chase here. It's been back-to-back 2 taps, and like it's happening, Fizz. It's happening, and I'm scared.
But you know what? They have a lot of progress on these generators. Baki has to stop them, and I don't know if you noticed, but they've already gotten rid of Ruin. That's gone. It got cleansed like instantly. So he does have that eruption to work with, but he didn't apply eruption to any of these other generators because he didn't want that unhook to come through for free, which almost happened, and it's almost happening again. We've already got a survivor ready to play for the unhook while the other 2 just sit on generators. Exactly what you want to do. You just let bro sit there, let him cook, and it doesn't matter. Look, we're already at the Tycon right now. These survivors are playing perfectly what you want to do. We don't want to be giving away too much. You know, at this point in time, if you want to win, we can pretty much just let Gunther die on hook, but Sizz doesn't want any of that with it. We want, you know, to survive as long as possible, just waiting last second to get this unhook. Not getting found is exactly what you want to do. You just want to go in for that, you know, right when Gunther's about to die and just go in. Even if it's a trade, it's alright, because we've already got two people sitting on the generators pumping away, and as Baki leaves, we're going for the unhook coming in for free, and we get the FTP off as we're going to chase onto Cash. So now I think we just have to play for those pain resists, get those generators regressing as much as we possibly can, get some kicks onto those gens, use that eruption, because like Gibbsy had eruption on almost all the generators that they were working on, so he was able to just down people and get those generators regressing. And just a little bit of a mind game here onto Cash, but not quite getting that tag, not getting that down, but it will be a down regardless, because I don't think it quite makes it to this Shaq pallet, and we're going for the swing, and yeah, that is the down. But we only have, like I said, maybe a flashlight save here? No way! No way! Payback save! Oh my god, that's exactly what you want on the side of Gospel. Gunther coming, he's like, yeah, I may be on death hook, but I can still save my team. I'm gonna be the last man standing here. Oh my god, he wants to be the only one that's gonna be dying. Oh my god, Gunther, what a man.
Yeah, definitely. What a man indeed. I mean, after going down consecutively sub 30 seconds 2 times in a row, he has just pulled a flashlight save that is for the ages. Exactly what his team need to get the win, and that will be them taking this set home here. So it is 1 apiece as it currently stands. Who will be taking home the 3-piece? We'll have to wait and see. Sizz now playing around this very nice Ormond tile is going to be rotating all the way down to 8 with some beautiful movement there and pathing very nicely. The light coming in all the way down to Shaq, and we have Gunther just again for the second time. He's trying to re-release the first album now, getting tagged and running all the way down into main. Doesn't really have much to run on, but I do think he has access to this filler pallet here over at the bottom of main. If we're able to play just a little bit carefully, you're going to be pre-dropping that and opting not to run into the back into the cave, unfortunately, getting caught out, and that'll be the UVX down onto Gunther, and that will be him out of the trial. But it's 3v1 at 1 generator remaining, you know, the infamous textbook, how the game should pan out. Baki going to be securing that death onto Gunther, is now going to take this UVX tag onto Cash. Going to be dropping down through main once more now. Where does he go from here? I mean, he's in a very bad predicament. You know, he has 3 survivors just so far spread on the map. Some gen pressure over here at main and some more in the background. The gen spread isn't the greatest either. And, you know, as far as his teleports go, they are, you know, inconveniently placed. I don't think that one over... Oh, you know, there's one here over 11. So we do have 11 mid 3 and main, what seems to be our gen spread at the moment. So it's very loose. You know, we can just be ping-ponging 11 and... Oh, it's mid. Okay. We'll just be ping-ponging mid and corner 11, and we do spot out Sizz here, who is now healthy, trying to really put pressure on this mid generator. Now going to be rotating all the way down to Shaq, relieving very fast, and we're going to be hitting the pole on the side of Baki, unfortunately, but we have caught out Cash, who's just trying to be a little bit of a sneaky bugger going back on that generator, but we have opted to play this outside pallet here. Now what can he do here? Going to be slapping that in the face of Baki, now running all the way back down into main, maybe. No, I am joking. He's going to be running more towards 11 where the active is, but you know, this is kind of the path you have to take if you are to last a little bit longer, and you chase on the side of Cash. And now Baki going to be trying to cut him off via the door, but I do think he makes enough distance to kind of wrap around to 1 anyway. And if we have played our check spots correctly, we can backtrack, but unfortunately getting caught out as we have sent it all the way down into 1 to really get away from those generators being worked and prioritizing our death location. But that will be a second stack of pain res to slow the game down just a little bit more. Hopefully they weren't doubling the generator in the background, maybe 1 in mid and 1 on 11, and it does seem to be the case as we have spotted out Sizz with nobody else accompanying him at the moment. And 11 probably just being worked here as we do throw some pot shots on the side of Baki now. You know, still completely doable as there is only, you know, on paper, 4 stages with 1 generator remaining looks pretty chalked, but, you know, considering that where the hook is and, you know, the progression that's happened on the map, I'd say that, you know, Baki's still in a good position to 4K this, and we do see 11 really pumping away on the side of Nu here, who is pre-left all the way down to corner 11. Baki's going to have to go back to the hook and make this chase a quick chase if he is to really pull something out of the hat here. The FTP coming in hot from the side of Sizz is going to be going down. Unfortunately, the eruption proc is going to be happening all the way down to 11 and mid. So, again, really slowing the game down. And once more, I think it's extremely hard for the survivors to pull this back, but still not doable for this.
Yeah, he does have a good couple of gens there. He can pretty much see all of them from the top of main as well. So, and he's got decent placement now on his TPs that he didn't have earlier in the trial, and I think that's really, like, I was gonna say cucked him. He just didn't have anywhere like to be able to TP to those gens and kind of get the ball rolling with that eruption. So now that he has the TP placements, he can kind of move around, but this generator 11 is pumping, and Nu has already just left. That's exactly what you're gonna do. You don't want to give the killer a chance to get that free tag on you. We're trying to play around this tile, just holding them check spots very nicely. Nu has gone into the underground, into the caverns, which is crazy to me. I forgot this map even has a little basement. Wait, did we even go down there? Oh my god. Wait, no, that's Cash. Oh, I'm so lost. They look the exact same for a second there, and we do see Cash over towards main, which is fine because Cash doesn't have a pain res on, whereas if we had a 2-tap Nu or anything like that, we would have had that extra pain res. Now this just allows Nu to jump back on that generator with no worries of that pain res coming through, but catching out Cash here. This might be the down onto Cash, and we don't want that because the eruption's going to come through, and yeah, happening in the background, the eruption, and we are still 2-splitting the gen. I would have thought they would have went to double this gen, but no, they're just 2-splitting, making sure we've got progress on 2 different generators, so kind of making Baki make that decision whether or not I want to protect 11 or I have to protect this generator. So it's got a choice to make, but we do know where Sizz is, and we found Sizz. Sizz is injured, so this could be a fairly fast down. Have a nice little tag on the UV there, bouncing it off the top of the rock. Exactly what you want to do, and trying to play that 50-50. We do have, you know, priority on the pallet, trying to bounce it off the rock once more, not quite getting it. Sizz just holding W around the pallet, and that is the generator in the background pops. We're not getting that 4K one, Hunter. They did it. They pulled it off. You know, you had little faith, but as I said, it's always a 50-50. And Nu, just stealth him. We want that fresh hook out the door. We don't want to give away any more stages, any more fresh hook survivors. We want to try and get all our homies out, but you know, we got Cash on the hook and Sizz on the ground. Don't really need to worry about Sizz as they've already been hooked, so they're not really worth anything. The only person that is worth anything is Nu, so Nu can either play for the hatch here or try and play for a cheeky little door, but we do have the pickup come through. Sizz back up again, but Cash will be dying in the background. I think Nu's going to run straight to that door over towards 11 and jump in it, try and get out of the trial. We're trying to down Sizz here once again. Just playing around this tile. I think this wall is kind of good for the survivors. You can stay through, but Baki getting a little lost there. Sizz has already hold W, not even at the tower. Baki just mind gaming himself there. Now we're trying to play around this tower pallet, and it's just might be a quick down here as Sizz is infected with the UV, just running into it, collecting that UV rather than taking the down. And I dare say that door over towards 11 is open, and yeah, we see Nu just standing there working on it, and Nu is out, not giving away that fresh. I mean, it was a hard win con for Baki to play around, and I think these survivors, you know, unknown being their pick, they just did it. They just played it perfectly.
My oh my, what a game. I really thought it was going to be a 4K after seeing the switch up, but, you know, they've proven me wrong twice now, and, it's just, you know, it's the caliber of Gospel.
I know he's been in the pool all season. You know, I've missed a couple of matches here and there where he's actually been played, so I haven't seen how well he turns out, but Hunter did mention that last time Zetsubou got a 4K 5 on Freddy. Isn't he like a lower tier killer? How was that even possible?
Well, you have to take into consideration the circumstances you're given sometimes, and unfortunately it was a little bit more of an inexperienced team, as, you know, they currently were just new into the scene, but later on they ended up getting some more experience, and that wasn't the case, but at that point in time it was just, you know, it wasn't the best for them, so nevertheless, we might be able to see a better result here. So maybe something along the lines of more the average, as you would expect this Freddy sets to be, something around 6 stages, you know, depending. And it used to be 3 pre-buff, so nevertheless, we'll be taking this first tag onto Nu very nicely on the side of Sen. And I thought it was going to be Canalev playing the Freddy, but I have been sorely mistaken, as Sen's just said, you know, let's chop it up. Come on, let me in on the killer once more. And I think that's what's happened here. And now going to be following up that tag with a nice chase on the side of Nu, who's now going to be playing around this long fence, as we all know and love, outside the main building. And going to be rotating back up the stairs once more, taking some very conventional pathing, but has opted not to use the window. He has opted to go all the way back down the middle of main, going down, unfortunately. So it really depends what the survivors have been doing in the background here. We do see 5 with a lot of progress, and can we get it done before the pain res? And we do. So if we take this pain res hook over here, it's not really going to do too much, as I do think the second generator isn't that far progressed, and it's mighty unfortunate that we weren't able to catch it just a little bit before on the side of Sen. Now going to be going all the way back down to 6 here, where we do see Sizz just kind of looming around this backside of these buildings here. Playing very nicely, the mind game's running all the way down to the water tower. Now going to be able to use this filler here and play around it very nicely. Sen opting not to break it and try to play the mind game with the hinder coming in, but swinging at a whole lot of nothing, as we anticipated that Sizz would kind of camp the pallet, but we have just kind of ran around it and W'd all the way down to 3. We are running into the unhook, so we have to be extremely careful not to give up any free tags, any free downs, and we are going to do that very nicely, vaulting all the way into the T over at 3, but faking the window once more, and it's not going to work out in our favor. Going to result in a tag and go all the way back down to where the unhook had happened. So we do see, I do believe that is Cash running away. Oh no, it is Nu, and we've been called out. No, we've done the dirty on him. We've teleported to the generator in the background, and our awareness was not there, and that is a basement hook in the Dead Dog Saloon. That's just not what you want, Fizz.
And now I see why it could have possibly been a 4K 5. That was insane. Nu had no idea where Sen was coming from. That cheeky little TP onto the hangman generator. That's just, oof, that, my God. god, no idea where it was coming from. And we didn't see that Shack pallet get dropped at 5 gens either, so hey, we're just saving it for the last generator, I guess. And this generator over at 8 is pumping away. We do have a chase onto Gunther here. Gunther's just gonna be given that tag. Not what you want with Nu in the basement, and Sis also still injured in the background. And as we do know with that Freddy update, if you're healing while you're in the dream world, you can get TP'd onto, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. And you know, there's that down. We do see the unhook. I mean, I was gonna say if I was Sen, I'm just gonna be going straight back to basement and trying to catch off these survivors once again. And we do see the TP over towards 5. Maybe do the TP to back to that hangman guillotine, right? I can't remember what it's called. Regardless, we do see that. Yeah, close enough. We do see that Shack pellet finally drop, and this is going to be the last chase for Nu. This is going to be the death chase. We just want to drop absolutely everything, last as long as possible, get as much gen progress as possible as we can. But we do see, did that tag him? Not quite sure if that tagged him, slowed him down a bit. No, we did not. We do make this pallet over towards 6. Just going to play around this pallet. We do get that cheeky little hinder tag once again, and just swinging through the pallet, and just, oh, Nu is just getting clocked at the moment. Nah, no one's around. They're too busy resetting and doing the generators, just trying to get as much progress done as possible as we do. We are still with 4 generators remaining.
That's just so unfortunate for the side of Gospel. Just Sen playing very well at the moment, and yeah, only 2 generators pop for that first kill of the trial. You know, 3 generators remaining, 3v1 at 3 gens. This is looking extremely dicey for us survivors. Do have some progress over at main, and that is one of the generators that is out of our reach to get on the side of our killer sometimes. You know, it's just very inconveniently placed. And you know, really surprised they were able to get out of the basement there kind of free. I mean, you know, he was able to last just a little bit longer to get that last generator procced. And, you know, obviously you can't say the same for a Bubba set now, can you? But we're going to be taking chase back onto Sis on the backside of 12 here. He's going to be getting caught out. No resources to really be working with. He's going to be eating a tag and running all the way down to 2 side now. I'm not too sure what exhaustion he has in his back pocket, as life player has already been out of the trial. That was Nu. Is smash hit in the back pocket. So what can we do with that? We're going to have to find a pallet, and I do believe we're running to where all the others had been thrown. We had thrown this 5 filler here, but hasn't been broken yet, so maybe we can make do of that. And Sen going to be using that hindered status effect there. Well, I can't remember what that blood. I want to call it a blood pool, but I don't think that's the correct term. Nevertheless, we're going to be vaulting into Sen's loving embrace on the side of Sis, and that will be another hook. There'll be another pain res used too, so it's going to slow the game down just a little bit. Whatever progression we had on main is now kind of obsolete at this point in time. I don't think we'll be getting that done anytime soon. Unless we really had a generator that was even closer. You know, we do have this gallows one that's been worked, but I'm not too sure. But we're just going to be missing that swing there on Cash, and Cash going to be running all the way down to the corner of the map. It does seem we did manage to get main done as well, so maybe we just kind of ate that pain res. Can't lie, but now taking chase to these short fillers over at 9. These are some really unsafe pallets, and 90 ping. It's it's the best thing in the world here in the West, and you know, I guess Cash is really getting a taste of that tonight, so going to be now taking another hook onto a pain res. It's going to be slowing down Gallows even more, so now we can just call it to 0 progression on all generators realistically, as I don't think that really Gallows would have a lot of progression. It does seem to be 1 to 2 pistons running, so that's about 20-25%. We do see in the background that our survivors have done the 1-1 split, so 1 go for the unhook, 1 go for gen pressure. We do see a killer notification over in the window here, fast vault nonetheless, and that will be Sis, who's just kind of stuck and caught out inside the middle of Shaq here. I'm not too sure what that's all about, but it's not Sis. It does seem to be Gunther who vaulted the window, maybe trying to force the chase of some sort. Going to be pre-dropping this pallet here, and now trying to run all the way down to the water tower. Not really much to work with here. You only got the window over in the short shack, and I'm not too sure what you can really do in terms of this. You're just going to have to be eating a tag and running out of the corner, going all the way down back to 3. Not even too sure if there's a pallet down that way, but there is one over on the outside of 4. But we have opted to run all the way down to the LNTs on the side of Gunther here. But he's going to be getting caught out with the hindered status effect, and he's going to be going down before he even reaches that window. So, again, I think you can chalk it up to a 4K1 at best here, Fizz. But my predictions have been extremely wrong tonight.
I mean, it's possible that main building gen does get done, But wait, no, no, that's already done. I'm so cooked. Anyway, carry on. But he does have a nice set of gens over towards this bottom side of the map. Those 3 gens in the corner over towards 5 are disgusting if you didn't already see those. But you know, we catch out Cash here already. He's just got so much pressure on the board at the moment with those tags and the downs happening before the unhook happens. He's just able to go back and commit to this chase onto Cash and you know, getting those hinders. Oh, going for the swing, but not quite getting the hit there, and just trying to play around this 50-50. Not the best palette in the world, but Cash is using it to his advantage. You know, but what else has he got to work with? He's got nothing over here. I'm pretty sure this pallet over here has already been... No, never mind. Nu got slapped through it. Are we going to see another slap through the pallet once again? We do get that slow here, and... Oh, not happening this time. We do get the stun onto the pallet, but now where do you got to go? You just got a couple of bushes to work with. We do see the cracker going off, but we get that hinder onto Cash, and Cash is just going to be eating dirt. And I got to point out, when you're looking at Freddy's point of view, he looks so short in these bushes that he's just almost as small as the bushes. It just looks so funny to me.
He is the bush these days, yeah. And we're going to be taking that hook onto Cash now. You know, after making that pallet there, that was pretty impressive to do on, you know, such high ping. But now going to be teleporting onto this generator here over at 2 on the side of Sen, kicking that with Eruption in the back pocket, and that is applied. So, you know, our next down is going to be blowing that generator. So you definitely want the survivors to be able to last and chase and in a time like this, because you really need that one generator done to chalk it up to the 4K1. We are going to be playing 2 survivors in chase, and I do like this idea. If we're able to really last here, we're able to get that last generator over at 2 done if Sen overcommits this. I don't think he'll be I think he is a little bit too smart for that play. I do think at some point where, you know, if he does get it down or if he does get a tag, he's not gonna waste any time, but he's gonna get this down here. And he's going to be taking this hook, maybe, you know, playing it very cautiously. He does have the Eruption proc, so, you know, he doesn't have the slug to go all the way back down to 2. It has probably regressed back down to somewhere around the 10% mark. And that'll be Cash out of the game as well at this point. We do see some progress on this generator over at 2, but we have caught out Sizz, and you know, once again, we need to be working the other generator on the other side of the map, on the side of Gunther here. So he has to rotate all the way there and start working it. But first up has to get there. Now we're going to be taking a tag onto Sizz. He's going to be running all the way down to Shaq. And again, it's just rinse, repeat into nothing, unfortunately. We've been using all these pallets in this vicinity. There's a few fake ones here, some short fillers too. The RNG is not too crash hot, unfortunately. And we haven't really had the option to really utilize main to its full potential. And we do get an option here, but we have opted to kind of run around the corner, and I do anticipate that is because it is the furthest point from that generator over at 9 or 8 to be worked. So, you know, Gunther and Chase once more is going to be electing to greed this pallet after getting tagged through it, unfortunately, and, you know, kind of caught out here over at 1. Is really going to have to last long in this chase if Sizz is to get that generator over at Gallows done, but, you know, like you had seen, it's only 20% finished, and Gunther is on the floor. Sizz is the only survivor left in the trial. And I did say 4K1 just moments before, but it's looking like 4K2, especially since we have caught sight of Sizz, who's just trying to rotate on the backside of main. Now, Sen playing the mind games very efficiently here is probably going to be able to catch out Sizz in a moment of panic. And this is the infamous spot where, you know, do you drop down the hole? Do you go down the stairs on the side of Sen, trying to fake the drop down of the hole? But, you know, Sizz not falling for any of it as he is holding that, you know, crazy check spot, but he's sending it to pick up Gunther. And I think that is the call from the comms from the Survivor team. And they are both back up and in the trial. And if Sizz is able to last here, this could be, again, reset just a little bit maybe to get that last generator done. And Sizz now going to be running all the way around this dropped pallet here. And this is a 50-50 if I've ever seen one, and you're going to have to win multiple of them if you really are going to last long enough for a gen pop. But he is doing very nicely here and has ran around the long side of the wall, and I think he does make the window, and that is Sizz out of the chase here. Gunther just kind of lurking around too and playing extra greedy. I think he's been caught out. I don't think this was the play here, Gunther. You needed to rotate all the way back down to 8 or Gallows, but just going to be going down. I'm not even too sure if they know 8 exists in this trial, because I don't imagine a world where they would have been progressing that generator. I haven't seen them, you know, hop on it at all.
I mean, I think it got deleted a couple of times with that eruption. It was just people getting hooked down there. It just regressed all the way to nothing, so there's not really a point to jump back on. And 2's the most progress. There's 2 of them left. You got to try and do something. You got to try and get one of these generators on. And with that chase from Sizz, it could have possibly happened, but it was just way too close to the generator. Sizz breaking off towards main. That's exactly what you got to do. You got to try and break away from, you know, the gen that wants to get done, but I mean, Sen just kind of, he's a player. He kind of knows what he's doing. So of course he's gonna know someone's lurking around for that generator to get that 4K one. But unfortunately, it's just not gonna be happening. As we're into the last chase here, onto Sizz, just trying to play around this TNL shack wall thing, house shop. It's a house. It's a shop. Oh my god. What am I saying? And we do have, oh my god, we do have the bamboos. So we've boosted one of the windows, only one to work with, and now Sizz is just playing around this other shop, not a house. And then, yeah, that's just going to be the down onto Sizz. And the 4K2 secured for Sen on the Nightmare.
Yep, and that's exactly the result he would have wanted, having it being his, well, Zetsubou's pick at a point in time like this. He's played extremely well, and the killer from Gospel has a tall order, as we like to put it, a 4K3 win con. It's just not something you see every day, but it is this Freddy set, which is set 3, and it is looking extremely in favor of Zetsubou taking home this set, and that will make it 2-1. But again, I've been proved wrong, so our killer will be Cash. Nonetheless. Played the Blight set not too long ago, so hopefully he can redeem himself here in his Freddy set. And I know he does like the M1 killers, as there's not really too much input lag on these killers, well, not really too much that you have to be worrying about, as Nurse, Blight, and things that even Oni to some degree have all activation powers. So obviously in a high input delay, you'll be hindered a little bit, as opposed to somebody on, like, let's say 30 ping on some low ping. Nevertheless, this is, well within his repertoire and one killer, and we're going to be taking the first chase onto, it sounds like a female survivor dropping down, and I would presume that it would be Silly, but we've opted to take chase onto Backy here over at corner 5, and we're going to be not dropping the water tower, electing to utilize the pallet over at 4 here. And we're not going to be playing the window. We're just going to be pre-chopping that instantly. Is the light coming into effect here? No. But we are going to be vaulting in and out, and I do think we make this vault once more, and Cash not being able to make that swing is detrimental a little bit. So we are going to be utilizing that.
Oh, he's got Tropic Thunder, or whatever that perk is called. I thought that was coup. I didn't even realize.
Wait.
When you're like,
or Shaking Thunder, or Shaking Thunder.
That's it. And he had a longer lunge. I was like, wait, how does he have coup? I was so cooked there. But no, that was... Okay, sorry. My bad. Anyway, carry on, Hunter.
No, it's okay. I mean, like, well, if you didn't know how that... if nobody knows how that perk procs, it's when you fall from a great height. And I completely missed that. Yeah, you are right. I didn't even manage to see the build. It is Corrupt Intervention, or Shaking Thunder, Sloppy Butcher, and Pain Resonance. No access to Eruption here, which can prove to be pretty detrimental time and time again. But, if Cash is able to, maintain the pressure, he can definitely make something work. But there is one generator already being procced, and, that's one step closer to the win con here. For our survivors, they only need to pop 2 generators in the trial, but Cash needs to somehow 4K at this very moment if he is to take home this set. And oh, actually no, was it a 4K2 last? Yeah, it was a 4K2 last game, so he can afford to lose one more generator, but nothing after that if he is to take home the set. So we are going to be committing the chase back onto Silly. He's going to be taking the tag all the way down to 8 and running all the way into 9 here. No pallet to be used, but we are going to opt to go all the way down to main unless there is one over at 10. We're placing some fake pallets on.
Bang!
Is that the range from that add-on? Like, I don't know what the add-ons do, but that's absolutely incredible that he was even able to make that freaking distance, man. That's crazy.
I just got sniped by a pallet. Imagine that. No, honestly, I don't know what I haven't really played, like, worked around much of Freddy or what his add-ons do. I kind of know what his powers do with that rework that's happened, but the add-ons, don't ask me, asking the wrong girl, but that was unlucky. Unfortunate there from Silly, just getting sniped by that pallet. And these survivors are doing a very good job avoiding that kind of pool, whatever you call it. What did you call it before? Blood pool.
I called it blood pool. Yeah.
Bloodshot. I like bloodshot. And
the mind game.
Mind game. Silly just getting caught out. Oh my gosh, this might, this looking pretty good for Cash.
110%. That's another hook onto Silly, and with no access to any anti-tunnel out. Nah, he's going to go for a pain risk here because he hasn't used the stack yet. Keep that in mind. So that'll slow the game down just a little bit more, but I do presume that they're splitting the pressure a little bit on these generators. So even though one starts to regress, I do believe that one will still be progressing in the background. And Cash knows that. I think he's... Oh, he's gone all the way down to 5 here, and that's where the pain res has taken into effect. It just, like, begs the question, where are the other survivors? And now we are going to be trying to scour the map to see who was working this 5 generator here, but I think they've pre-left a long, long time ago. And now going to be vaulting this window here over at the 4 side of, sorry, 4 side, my god, the 7 side of the map, and going all the way back down to the hook. But we've teleported back onto this generator here, faked the teleport, trying to really bait someone out here, and it is our Jakes, which is Sen. We do have access to All Shaking Thunder, and as we have used it, unfortunately, it's not going to result in a hit. Not going to result in a hit once more. You know, Sen playing extremely well. It's going to be resetting this pallet here as well next to his generator. So, you know, Cash really going to be wanting to get Selly out of the game as soon as possible. But with the FTP coming into effect, you know, he's roamed away from the hook just a little bit too early, a little bit too far to allow this FTP to really take place. You know, it's happened once before, and his Blight set has happened again. And this, oh my god. Did he just get a speed boost just a little bit there? Was that a 99 sprint burst? Can we get a quick switch around back to Backy as to how he actually got away from that? It is a 99 sprint burst. That's fucking criminal. But we're going to be committing the chase back onto Backy here. He's going to be rotating all the way down to 6 once more. Does have access to this window up top and continuing the chase all the way down to Sen's active. We are still at the win con for Cash, and he's going to have to make sure that he downs Backy, but going to be swinging thin air. And yeah, this is proving to be pretty difficult here, Fizz, especially without him really breaking that door into Shaq. It's going to extend the chase even longer.
I mean, look, I can see the vision with the Tropic Thunder or Shaking Thunder, but I mean, it's just not as good as having that, like, you know, something like Bamboozle or even Eruption in your back pocket. It's just, you don't get as much value as you would, and bro's just swinging at air constantly. I think he's just relied maybe too much on that All Shaking Thunder. Kind of wants to have a bit more of a coup action there, but you know, like I said, he doesn't really have that extra regression on the gens that he is kicking, so he's kind of just dry kicking these gens just to get the regression started, but not really having anything else to work with there. And we are at the cannon pallet, but it's not a cannon at the cannon pallet. It is silly. I'm a little disappointed, but regardless, we are taking the chase here and we're winning it. We're trying to get a nice little swing here again, just swinging it, like I said, absolutely nothing, just swinging it edge, just swinging it everything that we possibly can. You know, maybe it's a ping diff, I don't know. We do see the TP come through, trying to cut them off, but where did the TP actually go? Maybe back towards that 8 side. And here we find Cannon trying to take chase here. We do have a little bit of a pallet here. Nice job using that extra rock as just a little bit more distance to work around, so we're not just playing a 50-50 at the pallet, and doing very well just to kind of win this psych. As I go to say that, we are vaulting back into the killer, trying to get that slowdown happening. We do see the slowdown happening. Are we going to make this pallet over towards 11? Canna is going towards that Canna pallet, so we could possibly see Canna at the Canna pallet, dropping this pallet towards 11, and we see Canna moving towards the Canna pallet, but it's already gone. Unfortunately, your teammate dropped it, my guy. You can't use it to your advantage, and that is going to be the down onto Canna, and a Painrez in the background. But we are at the Tycon right now, so they just need to pop one more generator to take the W, and they do have all survivors pretty much on the board. And this is the downside of kind of losing your tunnel out as well. You just have so much more people to work around and to split across the map, and you know, the killer has to work for so much more than what he originally had to if he'd got that tunnel out earlier. So now we're kind of just back at level 1, you know, trying to go for another tunnel out, or just trying to get these healthy survivors, or these first stage survivors, trying to use more of the Tropic Thunder, but it's not that, doesn't look like that much of a, you know, extra lunge distance, kind of just a little bit of a coup, and swinging from very, very far away is not really going to help you much. I think more of a factor is going to hinder you more.
Yeah, definitely, and now we're going to be taking chase back all the way over down to 5 here. I mean, it's like 4 survivors still left in the trial here, and you know, they're so close to getting that generator over at 8 done. The spread's just immense at this point, like you had mentioned a little bit before. It's 1 over at 3, 1 over at 8. He's really trying to use this L Shaking Thunder again, like you had mentioned. I think it's just like a combination of the fact that he can get some wacky hits in terms of the ping that he's been allocated, but again, it just proves to be a disadvantage at this point. Like, surely you just play a little bit more conventional. I think he's going for these really ambitious plays, and it's really costing him in the long run, getting a little bit frustrated as well, swinging at the window. I think they really just want to hone in on the next set, as this wasn't their pick as well. So, you know, it was kind of a little bit of a wild card, and trying to mind game this broken R and L wall. Trying to jiggy around on the side of Canna and debate Cash, but not falling for anything of the sort, and that will be the set going to Zetsubou at a 2-1 at the currently stands. So going to be now committing the chase back onto Canna. Going to be going down at the pallet, playing for a pallet save here. Who's in the running for such? And it is Baki, who's just kind of lurking all the way in the middle of the map here. A double coming in all the way over at 3 as well. One of our survivors dropping down to play for the pallet save is also maybe going to eat a tag on the side of Baki. Oh no, they're here for the pallet save. Sen, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gonna be slapping that into our killer's face and resetting it as well. You crazy, crazy bastard. Right away, what are you doing? He's now going to be running all the way down to 3, you know, cutting himself short so he doesn't run into the teleport over at 5. And we did manage to hear just a little progress over at 3. And I don't know if Cash really heard it. I think he's a little too frustrated in the fact that he got pallet saved, unfortunately. And now trying to recollect himself just a little bit more, trying to find Silly, his tunnel out. We do manage to find so. Now kicking this generator over at 3, you would only anticipate that the survivors after getting that reset will be working something in the background, not 5, but the other one. I can't remember. I think it's Gallows. Yeah, it is. Silly now going to be having to have the chase of his life if he's able to, you know, get a 3-man out for his team, and he's going to be slapping the pallet back into Cash's face. But do hear somebody on that generator. And I swear to God, that's Sen. You know, it's no one in my mind that's crazy enough to go for it. And no, it's Canna. I've been sorely mistaken. And it is Baki too, sliding Cash as well, just completely out of the water. So I've just I've just said, you know, everybody except who it actually is. So nevertheless, going to be taking chase back onto Baki, who had sprint burst 99 once more. He's really good at doing that. My God, that just... Ugh. Anyway, going to be taking a tag, playing absolutely beautifully on the side of him. Now going to be running all the way down into the bottom of main. And we're going to be going all the way back down to 5 on the side of Cash once more. Really trying to keep hold of these last 3 generators that he has in the trial. But I do believe somebody would be pumping Gallows away, as we have seen multiple people here working this 3 generator, and now Silly's about to pop that 3, 2, 1, and that is just beautiful stuff. They might even potentially get a 4-man out here, as there's only 4 stages on the board. Nobody out of the trial just yet. We're going to be taking the last, what seems to be the last chase back onto Sen, so a little bit of deja vu from the Blight set. Opting to go up the tower, sorry. Going to be playing the pallet and trying to make the window, and does so. And yeah, All Shaking Thunder really not doing Cash any justice here, unfortunately. This will be some hit takes coming in from the side of Silly. Gonna be getting tagged there now. It still has access to Sensible Hell State. Baki already way ahead, and even teleporting to this generator here over at 1, still not being able to make any survivors, unfortunately. And that will be them all out of the trial for a 4th stage from Salt 2 Fresh. And that one's always notorious. Wraith 1v1 map 100%. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I've seen so many organizations.
Yeah.
Most 1v1 tournaments on the Kotal one were referring to, you know, Wraith.
For sure, for sure. But we're not 1v1ing Wraith. We are on the 4th set of Gospel versus Zetsubou in the semifinals on OSL. So we're going to be seeing Houndmaster on Cold Tower 2, I believe. So different map, different story than 1v1s. It is a 4v1. So I want to see what perks he's going to be run with. Hopefully none of this Tropic Thunder perks. Yeah, a classic Pain Res, Call O'Brien, Brutal... Rapid Brutality. Sorry, I forgot what it was called. I was going to say Brutal Strength. That is not the perk. Close enough, but not the perk. And we do send the dog out to seek these survivors, trying to find where they are. And we did get a little bit of killer instincts. We see that again. We're going to be breaking this door over towards that main, catch up 2 survivors that are actually... we do have the dog back and recall, so we can use the dog to try and, you know, latch on to a survivor. Nice little quick double dash there. We are in the palace. We are able to stun ourselves out of the dog, but regardless, we do have to play the 50-50 here. Maybe wait for the dog to come back, use the dog as a little bit of a, you know, slow down for the survivors, but no, regardless, going to be a hit anyway. You know, kind of trying to just get out of that little 50-50 situation. Not quite able to make it out of there without a tag. We do get tagged, and we are sending the dog over towards Cat and Out again, but we don't have another pallet to work with as it's already been dropped, and it's going to be a relatively fast down, in my opinion. We don't even have survivors on generators yet. They haven't been able to rotate down towards the map, and or down towards the generators that are open, as we did have corrupt intervention, you know, towards that top side, so they had to rotate out. But, you know, kind of taking that very fast down is just stop these survivors from being able to kind of get on any generators and progress anything. We do have this generator in mid working a little bit. We're going to be applying that cob onto there, so it's going to be regressing a little bit more faster than a normal dry kick would. And we did see Sen there just kind of staunching the dog, just watching him through the pallet. So we know there's someone over here. We're dropping the pallet early, just trying to play around the 50-50s, just breaking that instantly. We don't really want to be playing around that one, and that's just Sen going to be holding W. Going to go back towards this. Oh my day, she's running. Going back towards the hook, we do see the FTP come through, and we're just going to be committing to this chase back onto Canna, just back at main building, just keeping it away from the generators that are in progress right now. But like I said, there's not very much progress going on. So now we're on a chase on this healthy drive, trying to get the dog. We do get a nice little latch onto Canna from the dog, and that's going to result in a tag. And Canna's just got to try and play as best as possible. We do get the dog going in again. Not quite able to get that latch. We're going to be playing it around this pallet here, just trying to 50-50. And we did see the rapid brutality come through, able to catch up a little more. And the dog coming through. Are we going to get that stun on the dog? Yeah, we do get the dog off, and Canna's able to just keep looping around this filler tile, just playing for as long as we possibly can, but just getting caught out there, not quite able to make it. With that rapid brutality, just kind of allowing Cash to catch back up there towards the end. And we do see the pain res now getting hooked, but they do get a generator done. So one generator done, second hook, or another generator eating that pain res. We do send the dog out to try and find a survivor. There is a survivor over towards 7. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is Sen, and yeah, if we're gonna be 5, 7, 5, 6, 7. But yeah, we're gonna be. I don't know why it's just said that, but you know, we're just gonna go straight back towards the hook, and we do have a lot of mobility. I didn't realize how much mobility the Houndmaster actually had. Didn't you know? I just thought the dog did the latch thing. I forgot she actually has the ability to send her dog out to kind of seek these survivors and, you know, chase the dog, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this still can have the potential to be a really quick game if we're able to catch out Canna here, who's still injured. You know, given no time to be reset here. We are getting some generators done in the background, as there's 2 done from the trial. Still, oh, and an extra one too. So, you know, they're keeping up the pressure for what it's worth. Cash really has to get this down now. Going to be taking that pallet stun over the dog, and kind of caught out over this Shack pallet here, and nobody really to take a body block because Silly has already done so and already in the mending state. And playing very patiently there on the side of Cash, but missing the dog, unfortunately. And the FTP coming in from Becky once more. That's going to be... We're going to need 2 tags to sit down Canna here now, so we are going to get a free tag. We're going to be going down on the side of Becky. I think maybe we just take this hook and, you know, play around our Bainers. No, we've opted to tunnel out Becky. No, Canna, sorry. We really want Canna out of the trial, and I don't really blame Cash for doing so, but he has to be really careful that this chase doesn't get out of hand, and he's committed to the tag now. He has to make sure he follows through with the quick down, and that is exactly what you need. You know, rapid brutality coming into effect there after the first tag, and just, you know, consecutively getting that next one there. The perpetual one's coming in, and now going to be taking the hook onto Canna for the send-off, and does still have access to 3 stacks of pain res on the side of Cash, and if he's able to get a quick down onto either Silly or back, he can utilize that and slow the game down even more. And if that happens, we'll be in a world full of trouble on the side of our survivors. So we want to be getting them reset as quickly as possible. But we have spotted out Backy in the bright blue shirt, going to be taking chase all the way down to the shack once more, and we're going to opt to just kick this pallet on the side of Cash, or just fake it a little bit, play the dog, try to zone Backy back into the map, and we've got him exactly where we needed him on the side of Cash there to get the pallet break, and not, you know, it sacrificed Backy a lot of distance there. It's exactly what he wanted to do. You know, he didn't want to just run in and break the pallet, because we just would have made so much distance all the way down to 4 to 5, and now we're really playing the dog very nicely on the side of Cash, playing very patiently, and that'll be just another quick down onto Backy, but no eruption proc, as we had never kicked main, and that will be main finished there for the 1 generator remaining in the trial with 3 survivors still up and running. So We're going to be taking this hook onto back here. We're going to save our pain resist because we know that no other generators being worked in the background as we do have what's our split looking like? We have 10 in the background. It looks like we had mid 4 and something around the 5 to 6 side of the map, if I do remember correctly. And, you know, we do spot out Silly here, who's dropped on from the side of main and all the way down into 10. We're not going to opt to chase out on the side of Cash. We're going to go all the way back down to where our jets and hooks are. And we do spot out Sen, who has just been caught out trying to get this unhook. And we do still see scratch marks here, Silly hopping on that generator all the way over at 10. Going to be committing on the side of Cash here, and we can let Baki cook for a little bit, but that does require Sen to last a little bit in his chase, and greeting that pallet very nicely, might be able to do so. Cash getting a little bit worried that there will be a pull in the background, and that has happened. You know, Silly getting the pull for free as we haven't gotten a tag onto Sen, and Sen just being able to last in that chase. Very nice work from him. Now we're going to commit the chase back onto Baki, who's pre-dropped the pallet in the process, running around the water tower. He's only been hooked once, so, you know, even if we do down and hook him here, he's not death, so we do need to get this quickly, though, and get our pain res as soon as possible. Playing very patiently around the pallets, and he's just playing incredible at the moment. And we do have our body block coming in from Sen, as if we do need it. Silly back on that generator over a backside of 10 now, where it's around 20% progressed. And Cash really trying to play around the hit take here is going to be eating the M1 onto Sen. But following up the chase too, I mean, I think this is a little bit of a mistake, as we could have just elected to chase Baki, but nevertheless, Sen will be pre-dropping this pallet and vaulting back into Cash's loving embrace, and this will be a pain resonant stack if we are able to use it in this vicinity. I do think we are able to do so. It's going to be hitting 10 though. You know, do still have access to this generator here over at 5, but it's not going to be able to get worked until we get Sen off of the hook here. And it'll probably be Baki's job unless they've rotated the survivors. Baki back on 10 and Silly going for the unhook as the healthy survivor. Not too sure what the plan is here, as we do see, you know, Cash taking control of the map once more. Going to be utilizing that dog to go all the way down to 10, and we have spotted out somebody with the killer instinct. It does seem to be Silly on a full health state here. Going to be taking the kick straight away and pre-dropping this pallet on the side of Silly. He's kind of forced into the corner of 11, running all the way back down to 12. Going to be missing that dog latch on from Cash, and now it's going to allow Silly to make that window there, and light coming into effect as well is going to create some extra distance and aid us in this chase here. And Cash is probably going to leave this. I don't see a world where he'd really want to be chasing this, and we do manage to catch out the reset, but it's a too little too late. Both survivors back in a full health state. Going to be faking the window very nicely on the side of Sen, but now it's going to be latched on by the dog. And we're going to be playing the oh wait, if he escape. Wait, what? Oh, we're trying to zone him. Okay, I keep on forgetting what that actually, you know, what that play is all about. But we do see Baki on a full health state once more, going to be taking another hit take, and once again, you know, Cash going to play a little bit slower and go all the way back down to the generator over at 10.
I was going to say, because it doesn't injure you when you get, like, when you release yourself from the dog, right?
No, it doesn't. That's why I got a little bit confused, but it is just to zone the survivor, yeah.
Yeah, nice zoning there, but unfortunately just, you know, allows these two survivors to jump back on this generator and get get that double going while Silly's in a chase off in the distance while we're just watching the motors pump. We do see Silly get hit by the dog in the background. We can get Spectator to get onto that chase so we can see what is going on. Silly is another pain res survivor, so hopefully these guys can get this generator done before Silly goes down. Hopefully Silly's having the best chase of life. Seems like Silly is having the best chase of life. Yeah, here we go. Thank you so much, Spec. You know, we see Silly just kind of play for as long as possible. That dog is absolutely tweaking, by the way, trying to go for a little bit of swing here. The swing not coming through. Silly just going to be not vaulting on the pallet. Nice 50-50 mind games there from Silly, just playing very safe. Would you see that generator pop in the background so that, you know, no 4Ks around here tonight? Would absolutely pump in the generators. I dare say these survivors are going to get out, but Silly is our fresh hook survivor. This is exactly who you want to be chasing, who you want to, you know, especially once all those generators have been popped, so we want that extra stage on the back of the board, and Silly's just trying to last as long as possible. Maybe one of these guys can come in for a hit taker or possibly a down, but unfortunately that's just going to be the death onto Silly. And as I say that, these guys are, Baki was coming in soon. I think he was doing that door over towards 10, or no, I'm wrong. 6 got opened, I think, but regardless, that is the hook onto Silly, securing that extra fresh stage. And maybe these guys are just going to take outs, or they're going to reset, try and open that door at 10, but it's going to be so hard with only 2 survivors now. They're going to take those outs, and that's a, what, 6, 7, 8 stage, 4 fresh result. That's pretty good, I think, on a Houndmaster.
6, 7. Nah, yeah, it is around
Oh.
that stage. I think if we look at the scorecard real quickly, just before we head into the intermission, it is 8 hooks, 4 fresh. They're still amongst, decent result. I mean, it's amongst the higher stages. It is more so the average as we would have expected, but the survivors have to better this. They have to have 7 stages out the door, and that's the kicker. Really good that this Cash was able to find the fresh hook survivor as well, because if he managed to hook Sen or Baki, he'd already hooked them, so it wouldn't have been as many stages. But it's awarded him more fresh now as well, so that's another plus, definitely, to make it a little bit harder for the survivors the killer next match. But that has yet to be seen. Remain to be seen. What we're going to do is going to take a quick time out, and we'll be right back within a quick few short minutes. Don't go anywhere.
They got to get that 4 fresh 7 stage out the door, whereas Baki needs to get that 4-9 result. So, I mean, like I say, 50-50 at all times. They've got to play pretty perfectly. I haven't seen Baki play the Houndmaster yet, so keen to see how he's going to do on this one. But like I said earlier, he's a well-known killer. He's got a lot of killers in his repertoire, so surely he knows how to chuck a dog and slow these survivors down. Play a little bit of M1. The survivors trying to stealth already, trying to stealth out this dog. Do a little bit of crouching. Does it do the same thing with the dredge? Like you crouch out the dredge's killer instincts. But anyways, regardless, as I say that, we find Cash over here towards this 2-1 tile, trying to dodge out the dog, and unfortunately not happening. There's going to be the dodge latched on, and then there's going to be a hit. We did see someone, I think there was someone over behind that rock as well, and Baki has saw them too, but that's the sprint burst coming through onto Nu. Going to try and get another latch onto the dog missing, not quite getting that tag there. I don't think he should have dropped that chase onto dropped that chase from Cash. And yeah, no, that's just going to be the survivors getting that reset, trying to jump on these generators and get as much progress done as possible. Yep. Fresh reset. That is unfortunately now Nu's just jumped on a gen, and now we're pretty much back at stage 1, trying to find the reset, and we do find the reset. Unfortunately, it just gets off before Baki can actually get the down onto Cash, and so now we're back at the beginning. Trying to take that tag so we can stun the dog out of it. Now we're trying to play around this pallet, trying to do the 50-50s. And it is absolutely working. Cash has been playing phenomenal around 50-50s all night with these little filler pallets, and just playing it very patiently, just absolutely dominating on them and sending out the dog once more, hopefully trying not to get tagged, and it's just not coming through. Cash is just holding these checkies as much as possible around this 4 lane. Just doing what he can. Hopefully the dog doesn't get it, but the dog gets a little bit of a nip in the back shoulder, unfortunately, with that vault coming through, just not that fast vault, and we're just swinging it air once again. Oh my days. These guys are just, they're both trying to play for the win, and just misses the dog. I don't even know what happens there, because we can't see what the dog's doing, but the dog is just absolutely missing, and Backy's just throwing the dog here and there. Now we're trying to play the 50-50 on this pallet, and I think Cash just held W. Where did he go? Oh my god, he's just gone around the backside of the tower. Oh, but no, getting caught out once more. And would you see that generator pop in the background too? That was a phenomenal chase. I think leaving him there, at the start, trying to get that tag onto Nu having the sprint race just kind of lost him those 2 generators.
You know what's going to happen here too. Or we hear somebody scream in the background. So somebody was working a generator as well. They'll 3-split. They're going to play around Ruin. And yeah, he has access to Pain Res. But I just don't think Eruption will really get any value. Unless we do break the Ruin, but I don't even know if that's really within their best interest at the moment, as we do see, Sizz pumping that generator over at that mid-4 tile and is pre-leaving it accordingly now. I mean... Oh no, it's Gunther. Gunther's going to be slapping the pallet inside of Backy's face, and going to be getting caught out too. This is a quick 2-tap. This is not what you need on the side of Gospel. You really need to be lasting in that chase, because I do think that's going to really interrupt and hinder the progress over at mid-4. And yes, we do see Sizz back on that generator, rotating all the way back down to Shaq. Does have access to a nice eye filler pallet into Shaq window as well. This is a pretty strong setup, if I do say so myself. And, we see the medium vault come in, but I'm pretty sure that he has life in hand and going to be playing Shaq very well, but opting to run straight away. Nu playing very aggressive for this generator here over at mid rather, sorry, and going to be running all the way back. Going to be checking the locker just in case of any funny business with no head-on shenanigans. And, you know, Nu's so close to getting that flashlight save. He was just lurking around the corner there. Going to be getting another pain res stack here from Gunther on the side of Baki. So this will slow the generator over in this middle section just a little bit more. The game's starting to be at a standstill a little bit here ever since, you know, we had that really good cash chase. Got a quick tap onto Gunther, unfortunately, and it's just kind of slowed our game, slowed our momentum down just a little bit. So we have to recuperate a little bit for the survivors. You know, Ruin's really going to eat that generator. And this is where Ruin really prevails, and when you don't want Ruin up and running. It's like, if there's a generator that's a high progressed, and it's really just next to this killer's camping, killer's hook, sorry, and it's just proves to be problems. And we do take the chase back onto Sizz, who's going to be eating a tag, and now running all the way back down to main and getting caught out once more. Again, it's going to be getting two-tapped. These are the chases that you don't want on the side of Gospel if you are to take home this set. But Nu with Beamer in hand is just going to be shining the top of his head. Unfortunately, no. The aim is just not there. It was not cooking in the aim labs tonight, unfortunately. And, you know, you do feel it sometimes. It's like, you really don't know with the trajectory of the flashlight sometimes, you know, it can prove to be pretty difficult. And, you know, right time, I think the timing, well, right position, I think the timing was just a little bit off. But nevertheless, going to be slowing the game back down on the side of Baki as well. There is another hook on this pain res, and that is the third pain res being used in the trial. So the game has slowed down even more. I don't think it can really be slowed down a lot more other than the fact is if we get Nu, on a hook, on a pain res hook, that'll slow the game down a little bit more. But, you know, he's not going to make that an easy task for Baki. And we're going to quite catch out Gunther, who's just not had a very good night, unfortunately, just being caught out on multiple occasions. And probably the nerves and jitters getting the best of him, unfortunately. But, you know, just being caught out of position and going down, it's just going to be another hook straight in the middle of these generators that are being progressed. And again, the progression just coming to a halt. So just a little bit of rinse, repeat here, Fizz.
Absolutely. But you know what? Gunther always plays his best when he's on Death Hook. Like, he's got something to live for it towards the end, you know what I mean? So, like, we've seen him towards that, you know, in that unknown set, getting a couple of flashy saves and playing super aggressive. So, you know, he could turn it around, you know. He has been getting a little tippity taps, but isn't he also playing on ping too? So he's got a little bit of a hindrance there as well. But I'm loving what Baki's doing with this dog, just sending it towards the generators, checking on gens too, and do you get that nice tag onto Sizz? No way is this going to be a trade here, but it is. We're actually trading, but we can pretty much just slug this and go for it. But no, we're actually opting to take the hook. We know exactly where Hunter's got. Hunter. You're Hunter.
Oh, I'm in the game.
Where Gunther's going to be running to, you know, we know where majority of the pallets are. He wants to be going towards that top side because we know Baki's trying to secure these hooks, so we can kind of cut Gunther off here because we, you know, relatively know where he's going, using the dog to try and see if we can find him, checking this locker to see where he is, but Gunther has just held W. He's going to meet up with Nu over here, get this generator done, and Baki's just lost in this corner, still trying to find where Gunther could possibly have run off to, and now we are at one generator remaining. If we find Nu here and just camp him to death, that is our win, pretty much. If I'm looking at that correctly. No, I'm wrong. But no, Gunther's getting caught out once again, and that's going to be the death onto Hunter. But, oh my god, Gunther. But that generator, you know, that Nu's working is absolutely pumping away, but that Ruin's going to regress that a little bit more. And I dare say the survivors are working on a different generator on the other side of the map, but that has been regressed a lot. So, you know, they kind of pretty much have to start from that generator. But we're just checking these back generators. Didn't even go check towards that generator at like 9, whatever it is. And we do see someone already stealth towards Shaq, and this split is horrendous for Baki.
It's not good at all. You have 2 survivors over where that generator hasn't been started, but you also have a sneaky Nu just trying to get this generator over at 10 done. And I think we've caught sight of the scratch marks, maybe? No, we're just preemptively sending the dog all the way over to 10. And we're playing this stealth very well on this side of Nu. Nowhere to be found. And they're just pumping that generator all the way over at 5. This is completely doable. I mean, they have such high progression on both generators now, so Nu really needs to capitalize on this fact and get on that generator over at 10 as soon as he can. And he's just kind of really playing that patiently, anticipating the fake, but we've opted to go for the chase all the way over at Shaq here. Cash is going to be pre-dropping this Shaq pallet very nice and early and creating as much distance as he possibly can to skate away from this. Nu's going to be rotating for the generator here very late in my opinion, but maybe there's some method behind the madness. We're going to be making that vault on the side of Cash as well. Going to be swinging and hitting absolute wood from the side of Backy, unfortunately. And now we've opted to leave and go straight back to the generator. And once again, Nu playing very efficiently here, very safe if I do say so myself. But we caught sight of him and we've gotten the dog straight latched onto him, but we're going to be slapping the pallet, stunning the dog and stunning the killer. And at the same time, now the beamer coming into effect. We really need to get Nu down as soon as possible as he is our only pain res left on the map, and the generator getting done in the background. We have to really last in this chase now. That is exactly what Nu's mission is here. He's going to be getting latched on by the dog, but the hit coming in from Sizz. Johnny Cash on the gate. Wait, they might be able to make it out. Backy's going to have to pull the most incredible dog play I've ever seen if he is able to take this set away from Gospel. And I'm having absolute deja vu from what we had seen in the grand final. We are pre-dropping this pallet here just before the door. Nu playing the mind game very well. Does he get forced into the corner? He does, and there's hit takes from both angles. Backy, the FTP coming in. We're gonna be eating the dog tag. Wait, hold on a second. Even if we were down Sizz and we do hook Sizz, that is there. Wait, they win. They take this set. 7 stages, even if Sizz dies. It's not enough to meet the 8-stage win con that Cash had said last game. I'm losing my voice. Fizz takeover. That's absolutely. And Zetsubou are spawning in. We do have Sen all the way over at the bottom side of the map. Nu spawning on the top side of the map. And Andrew and Cash spawning into bottom 8 bathroom. Going for a 1-1 split. Both sides, top and bottom. Now, Sen going to be looking around. This top 5 portion of the map's going to be rotating all the way down to top 7 just to see if we can find our first chase nice and early. Going to have some amazing stealth work here from our survivors as this is a relatively short, tiny map, and now we're going to be taking the first chase onto Sizz, who's going to be narrowly missing that swing there from Sen. Going to be playing the Sen mind games very nicely. The M1 mind games coming in, playing this pallet very greedily, but not greedily enough to get hit through on the side of Sizz. But now, unfortunately, he's going to be forced all the way down outside into the hallways after getting tagged. This can be a really quick down if we aren't careful here. We're going to be rotating back to the top 9 side where we do have access to this meat pile pallet here, and going to be greeting that very nicely on the side of Sizz, but getting caught out and just giving pallet possession to the killer there. And a killer like Sen, that's just exactly not how you want to be playing there. We are going for a little bit of a 3 split here. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure I did see a 3 split happening. We are going to be taking this nice pain res very early here on the side of Sen, and now going to be doing our gen patrol, our rounds check, if you will. We do see some scratch marks leading from 5 all the way into top 3 here, where we'd be committing chase onto Andrew here. And what can he pull out of the hat here? Slow vaulting the window, blocking Sen from vaulting it very preemptively, and now going to have to be playing and greeting this pallet very nicely here, getting caught out, and Sen trying to bait the pallet swing, but Andrew is primed and he is ready, ladies and gents. He's back.
I mean, you don't want to chase Andrew in an indoor map, so I have been told. He's apparently the goat. So we do see the unhook come in in the background of that little Andrew chase, and oh, Sizz doing a little bit of stealthing here, but unfortunately not able to stealth away. We do find Sizz. We're able to break that pallet, and now Sizz has nothing to work with over here besides a body of Cash. Cash coming in for that body block. That's exactly what you want to do. Block for your teammates so that we can get out of these, empty pallet areas and get to somewhere where we can, chase for a little bit longer. But we do run into another classroom, but we do have that window to work with and another pallet over here. So trying to play that 50-50. We're just going to be holding W to this God pallet. God pallet 11 dropped, just getting it out of the way. It's going to be kicking that straight away. These survivors are doing a great job just surviving for as long as they possibly can. But this pallet here is down, so that we don't really have the ability to drop it, and that's going to be another down onto Sizz relatively fast. But these survivors are cranking gens. I believe they're 2-1. Yeah, they're 2-1ing this generator. So this generator will be popping in the background as we don't have that pain res to work with. And, they're sitting on the gen, so the rule's not going to be doing anything for them at the moment. And that's going to be Sizz taking the second hook of the trial with 3 gens remaining. Now, Cash is injured, so if we do manage to find Cash here, and I like the way that Sen kind of went into the classroom to cut them off so they couldn't see him coming down the hallway, and we do find the reset, so we're able to stop that reset, and the Sloppy Butcher stopping the, the healing progress that they do have, so they don't have any of that progress now, and Sen, nice mind game there on this dirty little ugly 7 pallet in the piano room, and we're just going to be going straight back to that hook, making sure we're cutting off that unhook. And never mind, we already got the unhook. I'm a little silly, and we're just going to be committing to that last chase onto Sizz. That death hook chase is exactly what you want to do. You know, 3 gens remaining, find our death hook survivor, giving Sen the pallet once again, trying to do a little bit of a mind game at a swing, not coming through with this a little bit of a bigger fillet here. Now we're just going to be playing around with these mind games, the 50-50s. We did see the pick up on Cash in the background, the 50-50 coming through, but unfortunately just not enough patience there from Sizz, and that's going to be Sizz taking the downfall, and that will be the first death of the trial at 3 generators with an injury in the background. I lied, we got healed up, but you know what, we're in the 3v1 now. It still could go either way. We can definitely see some outs here. Oh my god, Hunt, I'm tripping over my words again.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, with these generators over at this, like, 7 to 10 range being so close as well, this is definitely holdable for Sen to really apply some pressure. And if you're the Survivor team, you just really need to be working those generators away from this region and kind of attack it in the later game, I would assume. As it is a Wraith, you know, he doesn't really have access to a lot of teleportation. He does have access to his cloak, but that's easily communicated amongst the team. I'm going to be taking this kick onto this top 4 pallet. I do believe this was top 4, and now running all the way down. No, it was top 9, sorry. This is the meat bar pallet that we had just played a little bit unorthodoxly against when referring to Scissor's Chase, unfortunately. But I'm going to be committing chase back onto Nu here, who's played this 7 pallet very nicely, opting to greed it a little bit and extend his chase just a little bit more. He's really going to try to eat the tag here, and he does so, unfortunately, and it's going to force him all the way back down to 6. And Sen, does he commit this chase or does he just play the tag? He plays the tag. What I do like about this build that Sen's brought in this trial is that he has access to his perks at all times, given the fact that Ruin does not get cleansed. As we take this chase back onto Andrew here, we do have access to, you know, Sloppy Butcher, 3 stacks of Pain Res and Ruin still in effect here, and we're really trying to play around it on the side of our survivors. Andrew playing around this pallet very nicely. Like I said, he is primed, and this is what you'd love to see from the man himself. You know, he's definitely an indoor map specialist, playing the checkbox very nicely, but unfortunately getting caught out on the side of Sen, playing that mind games beautifully. He's going to be eating that tag on the side of Andrew here, running all the way down to bottom 5 God pallet. But again, you know, Sloppy Butcher in hand is going to allow Sen to be able to play the tag hit and run game, and, you know, go back to Gen Patrol and try to catch someone out off guard, as we do manage to find an injured Nu who's going to have to play this pallet and get caught out and go down, as we have pre-dropped it a little too early. And that's going to be another hook onto Nu, and I don't think we get that gen done over at bottom 10 on the side of Johnny, because it's not too close to being done. Oh, actually, we don't.
No pain res.
No, we do. There's no pain res. Yeah, I thought if we had a pain res there, we definitely don't. And we didn't even hear the generator down at bottom 10, so that's just going to be popping for the 4K2 as it currently stands. You know, Sen would be just really just kicking dirt at this point, just being like, why the hell did I leave that spot without checking that generator? But we have spotted some scratch marks here, and we're a little too worried over about what Andrew has in store for us here over at top 3 rather. He's going to be playing this table pallet, but pre-dropping that instantly. He's kind of zoned in this spot. He doesn't really have much to go on. He's going to be dropping the Krakow a little bit preemptively, a little bit too early. He's going to be going down in this room over at top 12. And now we're going to be slugging on the side of Sen, and we're not able to get the unhook in time on the side of Cash, but no, we do. It was fairly late, but that's just as a result as the unfortunate events of Andrew going down a little too early. And now we're going to be taking a tag on the side of Cash. He's going to be running away from our killer. And, you know, Sen going to play it a little bit slower, play it a little bit more safe, get this hook onto Andrew here. He does have 2 injured survivors on the board at the moment, and they'll be wanting to work some generators over in the background. We have broken the 3 gen, though, which is some very nice work. We have managed to... Wait, no. Andrew's the one who slugged, nevertheless. I thought it was Nu for a second, but... Going to be pre-dropping these pallets and playing around it very nicely on the side of Sen. And now Nu, again, is going to have to pre-drop this pallet even as well. But we've greeted it, and if we didn't run into the door, we could have really made something there. Unfortunately, just sacrificing those microseconds of distance has really screwed us over in the long run. And, you know, we're not able to make that pallet on the inside of the room, and who knows if we were ever able to make that pallet. I guess we'll never know. But we're going to get the hook onto Nu here. That's going to slow the game down via the pain resonance, and, you know, Ruin's still into effect here. It's looking pretty grim at the moment, Fizz.
I mean, he's just using his perks to their full potential. The hit and run, especially when you get into that 3v1 at 3 Genos Arena, you have so much pressure on the board with the Ruin and the Pain Res on top of that, plus the Sloppy Butcher. These survivors can't reset because he's just going for the hit and run. And we do find Cash here, like I said, not reset. We're trying to play around this pallet, but unfortunately not quite able to make it around just with that you know, the speed that the Wraith has to catch up to the Survivor. Just Cash going to be eating the ground. We're going to be playing for another slug here, trying to find these Survivors. Sen knows where they are. We see him point up to the top side of the map there because he knows that that's where the unhook was. So that's where they're going to be resetting, and we do find the reset in towards this little, you know, seven ramp, and that's going to be another tag. We're just back to square one. The Survivors are doing absolutely nothing. So these generators are basically going to be at 0. You know, they've got no pressure in the past, what, 3 minutes, so it's just looking very rough for them right now. This is spelling their downfall. I've got to say their Hunter, but you know what? Nu could absolutely juice up here, but this is a death hook onto Nu. I love this second tunnel out that's happening here from Sen. Sen's playing this really well, and unfortunately that's just Nu getting caught out there, not quite able to get back around to that pallet, and that's going to be the death onto Nu. We've got 2 survivors remaining, but you know what? The man himself is still up. He's still up. The indoor god, as I've been told tonight. So, you know, maybe they pop another gen, maybe just one. If they've gotten rid of that ruin as well, if they had found it, which, you know, RNG does come into play when it comes to totem perks, they can spawn in the best possible spot in the world and you'll never find it the whole match, or they just spawn right next to someone that's, you know, spawn next to it. But unfortunately, we do actually catch out Andrew here, and oh, he tastes the tip of that one, and that's going to be the down onto Andrew. And now we're just going to try and find Cashew, who is just hiding in the locker right next to Andrew. Maybe we see a pallet save here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's very dicey at the moment. I don't know if Cash is going to elect to just kind of stealth out and try to pick up Andrew as opposed to getting gen pressure at the moment. But yeah, Sen just in such a dominant position rather at this point, and you know, I'm getting a little bit worried that he actually knows that Cash is in a locker somewhere, and yeah, he's checking, he's sniffing. My God. Okay, just able to get 2 tunnel outs in the span of only, you know, what seems to be around the 9-minute mark, 10-minute mark. It's like absolutely incredible on a Wraith set, and you know, with Slug on the ground at the moment, Andrew just not being able to be picked up, and the game coming to a close and slowing down really immensely. The only thing that the survivors can really do in this instance is play for the 4K1, and that's just notorious on a Wraith set. You know, unfortunately, Cez was tunneled out a little bit too early. Just a little bit of micro mistakes, unfortunately, and I mean, you can sit here and kind of debate what they could have done better, and the realistic fact is that Sen just played this immaculately, just capitalizing on every single nook and cranny. You know, when you're versing a kill like Sen, you can't really slip up in any instance. You can't really afford to make any mistakes. As soon as you do, even if it's just a micro mistake, even if it's just like something so tiny, so small, it's just, he's just going to realize that, you know, he's played this game for way too long to kind of let it slip through. And, you know, that's exactly what you're seeing at the moment. Well, I don't want to say like Gospel have been making any major game-breaking decisions, because they haven't been. They've been playing very well for what it's worth, and obviously you have to take into account that, you know, Midwich is one of the smaller maps in the game. So you know, taking out of the fact that, you know, obviously there's 2 levels to the map, but you know, they're definitely, the upper floor and lower floor are a lot more accessible from either side now that the maps had a rework. You know, I want to say over a year and a bit ago. Sen opting to greed Andrew a little too much. I'm not too sure what that was all about. Maybe we were going for a pain resonance hook of some sort, but we've opted to give him the mercy a little bit. Am I watching a pub game, or are we actually very set on Cash at the moment? I'm not too sure what the haps is here. You know, Cash playing very cautiously over at top 2, once again in those lockers there. And, you know, Sen knows he's in a locker somewhere. We've extended the game just a little bit, and I think we're really scared of these generators being done. Yeah, again, maybe trying to deny the trauma tech as well, I guess, is like another thing to take into consideration. Ruin's going to be going in, you know, in a couple of seconds, and you know, that's a plus side for our survivors. You know, we can definitely play around the generators now. You know, we can do them, leave, and, you know, Andrew's just rotating to this generator where Cash is hiding at the moment, and oh wait, what? Sen doesn't want any of it at the moment, and he's playing around the generator now. He's going to be downing Andrew if he turns around and just opens that damn locker. You know, we've kind of chalked up the game to a 4K2, but He doesn't know anything right now, and I'm pretty sure the Gospel Boys are all giggling like little girls at the moment in their VC, and Sen really trying to bait out this locker here, these lockers, and is trying to drop Andrew back down to the courtyard. I'm not too sure what the play is here. I know I'm missing something entirely, and I really want to know what if anybody in the background can really give us a
Well,
gist of what's going on, or even you, Fizz, what's happening.
I mean, like, in my point of view, Sen doesn't want to risk the RNG of hatch because there's no set hatch spawn on Midwich, so it could spawn anywhere. So it becomes down to my favorite number, 50-50. So if he has Andrew on the map who's injured, you're able to hear where Andrew is and find him a lot easier with the blood and all that. Now that he can't find Cash, he literally has to check everywhere. But if he does this too much, Andrew can eventually come down to the last couple of seconds of the trauma tech, like, as you mentioned. And as we see that, we're just going to keep seeing Andrew go down and down. But this also allows Andrew to jump on the generator and just keep working on it. And they're doing a really good job of working on the generator that's right next to where Cash is hiding. So if Andrew can get up to a relatively decently high progress, Cash can just jump out of that locker and get on that generator and just work on it. So, I mean, never mind, there goes Pain Res. I'll take everything back. I think now Sen's just trying to play the game. Cash is not leaving that locker anytime soon. But I think that's what he's trying to go for. Like I said, RNG of the hatch. He doesn't want to give it up. He wants that 4K2 or like the most win con that he can set for his team, or result that he can set for his team.
I see the instance in which you would do such a thing, especially with the old scoring system. With the new scoring system, just it being based off of generators, it doesn't matter too much unless obviously they were to give up a 4K2 and all survivors were to have all stages hooked on the board. I just feel like he's like checked every single locker except the one closest to the generator. Surely he does it now. He's checking the wrong one. No, please check the one to your left. The one to your left. To your left. There we go! And it is the 4K2 secured for the side of Sen, and I know he'll be happy with that one, and he is he's so happy with that. I mean, he spent, what I want to say, like about 5 minutes looking for Johnny, and then like we found him, and now we can move on to the next half of the Wraith set, so 4K3 on the side of Gospel's killer, and I'm pretty sure it will be Cash, so my God, what do you even do in that scenario in the Wraith set? I mean, it's just not really something that you see every day, a 4K3. In here over at top 5, I do believe this is. A little bit disorientating when you load into Midwich Elementary first off the bat as a spectator, but nevertheless, we'll be rotating all the way down to the top portion of the map. We do see some scratch marks leading over towards that 12 to 1 side, but we don't want any of that. We want the person that is rotating all the way up to the top 9 side, and we do spot 2 survivors here, 1 healthy counter, 1 healthy Silly at the moment, so Silly going to be pre-dropping that pallet instantly and playing the window as soon as he can. Cash trying to play around that bell once more, and we are utilizing this little meat pallet here, and we're going to be dropping that straight on Cash's head here. He's really trying to get those ping hits there, but unfortunately not quite working out in his favor, trying to fake the bell, but I think we've just W'd away from the side of Silly. And if we look at our build, we do have Corrupt Intervention in hand alongside Pentimento, Ruin, which has now just been popped, and we're going to have to utilize Pentimento as soon as we can. And we do have access to Blood Favor still, but still no tag at the moment. It's just definitely something that you want. We're going for a little bit of a full Hex build other than Corrupt Intervention, obviously. But, taking that tag onto Silly now is not really doing anything at the moment because like Blood Favor isn't really going to be able to take into effect because we've dropped all the pallets in this vicinity here, but we are going to get that hit onto Silly. No! And so from the 100 hits that we had missed, we eventually end up getting one on the side of Cash onto Silly. And that's going to set us up for a quick tunnel out. If we're not 3 splitting the generators and they're not too far progressed, we could be in the running for a 4K3 here, Fizz.
I mean, you're not wrong there, And we do see that maybe Cash is going for this little bit of a painty. No, we do see... I don't even know who that was. Was that Becky? Oh, yeah, it was Becky. Becky's just been lurking in the background, and we see a generator in the background getting ready to pop there, but no, we're not going to be committing to this chase onto Becky. We want that talent. We want to get this survivor out of the game as fast as possible, but that just also allows the survivors to get back on these generators and just absolutely pump them. Silly's just hanging towards this more you know, stacked side of pallets of the map. You know, we do have that god pallet over at 11. That's exactly where Silly's going. Dropping that instantly. Cash ready for it. Getting into the cloak. Kicking that as fast as he can. Getting it out of the way. We do have this top 11 pallet going to be running towards maybe a little bit of a 50-50 going through. Psych, we find Canna running up behind us trying to play for a body. The body comes through, but Silly's still kind of sort of stuck. No, never mind. Silly has just held W. We are gone. We're over back towards 1. Maybe we've lost Silly a little bit there, but using our ears, we hear Silly was running upstairs, and we do cut him off downstairs towards 1, and now we've got control of this pallet, and Silly's kind of stuck here, but Silly's just playing this very nicely, a little patient, greeting that pallet once, maybe greeting it twice. Can we see another greet? No, we're going to be dropping that straight away. Now we've got to play it around the mind games. No, we're just going to be breaking that straight away, and we're just going to run straight back upstairs. We've still got a couple of pallets to work around, not the greatest pallets in the world, but, you know, we're going to do our best, last as long as we possibly can. We are at 4k3. This is the win con for Cash, so Cash can't really realistically lose another generator, but we don't really have any perks to work with right now, so it's kind of rough for my boy out here. And Silly's doing a fantastic job, like you said, knowing how to play around Wraith and just lasting as long as possible. We do see a generator at like 20%, and there's someone hanging around trying to play for a pallet save. That is Backy, always hanging around trying to save his homies. We see that pallet drop, and this pallet, again, like I said, these ones aren't the best pallets in the world, but you know what, you drop them, and we're actually winning the 50s over here from Backy. Backy's still going to be getting tagged here and just taking that and holding W, getting out of here. Maybe Cash is going to go for a bit of a slug game here. We do see the slug game happening. This is what you got to do. You got to slug, play very, very aggressive if you want to get this win, or even try and commit for a Tycon to replay the match. But no, yeah, here we go. Oh, he's trying to go for those ping hits once again, but unfortunately it's going to be a bit of his downfall, just making him waste way too much time going for those swings. And we see the pick up onto Silly as well.
Yeah, he's really trying to take advantage of that. It's not necessarily even just the ping, obviously. The end of the swing at the very tip is like where the hitbox likes to really take into effect sometimes in DVD, but nevertheless, wacky hitboxes and such, but nevertheless, we'll be taking this down onto Silly, but I think it's too little too late, unfortunately. And it's not even the fact that we're not making good progress, it's the fact that the bar's been set so damn high that, we're going to lose 2 generators as well. That's incredible. I mean, we'll lose 1 most definitely. You really need to hold on to this last one on the side of Cash. But, with 4 survivors in the trial, I don't really see a world where that is applicable, unfortunately. We're at the Tycon. I mean, at the very least, if Cash were to 4K everybody in this instance, we will be heading to another tiebreaker of the Wraith, which I know the staff will all love to sit around, and especially you guys, the viewers, as well. But nevertheless, we'll be taking the chase back onto Backy here, and this is not the survivor we really want to be chasing. Haven't really got too much use of Pentimento. We do have it up currently at the moment. We're going to be slugging on the side of Cash. This is snowballable now. Obviously with the slowdown that our Pentimento is providing, and I do believe we've lit a second totem in the background as we do our rounds check on the survivors. It just will make this extremely hard for the survivors to come back, and if this does go to a tiebreaker, this will be really well thought out from the side of Cash. I think his build really comes into effect during that mid to late game, and you'll be looking around somewhere around the 4k1 to 4k2 kind of deal, but again, this is Zetsubou, that as long as they can maintain their chase times and such and not make too many micro mistakes, they'll be able to play through this. Catch once again trying to play through that technique and that ping coming into effect, but 1 out of 10 not working, and that will be the last generator proccing for Zetsubou to go ahead into the grand final, and that you can just see Cash is just extremely devastated at the moment. He's definitely kicking the dirt now. I think I didn't even anticipate that generator over in the courtyard to be being worked. They just kind of hold on, Mr. Spectator, this is not a scrim. We want to see the end result. Yeah, sorry, I lost complete train of thought of what I was going to say, but nevertheless, be taking another chase back onto Sen here, who will be playing around this little short filler here. I do believe this is top 11, and we're teabagging this. Some pretty bad sportsmanship, I can't lie.
-4 gens.
Nah, it's it's name of the game. It's just a little bit of disrespect.
Yeah,
I know they've
bants.
won, obviously. It's banter. But obviously, if it'll render it unwatchable, then we'll have to do something about it. Nevertheless, we'll be committing chase back onto Canna here, who will be running all the way down to top 3. And just kind of, going through the motions here. No pallet to really be used in this classroom. We'll be probably going down before you reach anything else, unfortunately. And if we're in front of somebody with head on, I'm going to break my monitor. I'll do it for cash. I won't lie. I won't lie. Oh, wait. No, okay.
No,
Okay.
no,
I
no,
thought we
no.
saw to somebody in a locker. My God. I had a little nightmare.
I'm sick of lockers. I'm sick of lockers. Get out of the freaking lockers. I think what Cash sat in that locker for like 8 minutes or something. That's absolutely crazy. Someone turn those idle birds back on. Like, oh my god. But nah, these guys have played well. It has been a good series. You know, they're 2 for 2, made it all the way to tiebreaker, and just unfortunately, just the knowledge of the Wraith, you know, coming into play there, just being able to loop him for as long as possible. Silly having amazing chases, you know, from start to finish, using the tiles perfectly, and now we're just kind of binging our bong, bing
Bing a
bonging,
bong, bing a
bing
bong.
bonging the survivors. He's you know, congratulating them. Bing bong, you won. You know, like have fun in the grand final. You know, against Lyris Submarine, as I like to call them. That's me personally. But anyway, they're going to be going up against them in the grand final. So we're just taking our last couple of chases here. What do you reckon Cash could have done to even like done differently to kind of get that 4K 3 win con?
In all honesty, it's not even the fact that he overcommitted anyone or anything of the sort. Maybe a better build, I guess, but I get the whole. What the fuck am I watching? Um, Maybe a build that kind of accommodated him a little bit more. I mean, we did see Ruin and what's the other perk that was Hex Blood Favor. They all were gone from the trial relatively early and didn't really get as much value as Cash would have liked. Did have access to Pentimento, did its bits a little bit in the middle of the game, but unfortunately not enough to really make a difference. As far as like his micro goes, the micro was there. I can't fault it in any regard. You know, when you're versing a team like Zetsubou, they're just not going to fall for like stock standard mind games. Cash getting his ultimate revenge as well, and you'll love to see it from the little bags that Sen was giving him, but nevertheless, we'll be taking a tag onto Baki here, getting the unhook in the process on the side of Silly, and now we're going to be really trying to play up his ass and try to make sure that we get that extra stage onto Sen, but unfortunately, I don't think it'll be happening as the body blocks are coming in. And yeah, just a little bit of BM there from the boys. Obviously, some little bit of banter on the side of Zetsubou, but you know, obviously with the performance that you would have had on the side of Cash, you would have been a little bit more on the frustrated side, as this was a 3-stage. Something you more expect from, you know, when you play in the Wraith sets, especially. You know, that's what you anticipate on a map like Dead Dog Saloon as well. But apparently that doesn't happen. I love bringing that up, but no, nevertheless. To reiterate, that is a 3-2 victory going to Zetsubou. Zetsubou will be going straight to the grand final, where they'll be versing Lyris and Marine next week, and somewhere between the 1st and 3rd of November. It will be it'll be more than likely the 2nd or 3rd. As the first, I don't think is up for grabs, unfortunately. But please stay tuned for that. Obviously, it's going to be a hell of a ride. You know, two teams that were very well did very well in the tournament. And obviously to Gospel, we want to congratulate you for playing in this tournament. Thank you very much for participating. You did immensely well. Do not hang your heads down in shame. I mean, you are the best and versing some of the best, you know. And to Zetsubou, that was a very good performance, and obviously good luck into next week. That being said, we're gonna log off. Obviously remember to follow the socials and obviously be around in the Discord to see what the next plan of action is, and make sure that you know when next week's grand final is going to be. Is there any final words you want to say, Fizz, before I take us out for the rest of the night?
Hunter, you pretty much said it all. Good luck, guys, in the grand final. Thanks for having me. It's been a wonderful night. Yeah, see ya.
Always a pleasure, Fizz. Thank you for casting with me. And obviously, again, I want to reiterate, make sure you're tuned into all the socials. Please show the person that we throw the raid some love. More than likely will be Hez once more, as he is really enjoying these finals matches. So, you know, thank you very much for watching those. And thank you guys for all watching, the viewers all at home. I hope you've all had a safe week. If you are going out, stay safe once more. And we'll see you very, very shortly. I've been Hunter. Take it easy. Peace out.